Go by the apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love, and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuning in Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. It's been a minute, y'all. You know what I mean? Good to see my people's back in effect. I got my brother, the R&B guru, JR. What's going on, bro?
What's going on? Feel good to be back. Like you said, it's been a minute.
Right, my brother Vern out at ATL. We had to take care of the Braves for y'all, man. But you know, it's all still love.
Yeah. Hey, man, you know, tip of the cap to the Phillies. You know what I'm saying? I ain't that type dude or whatever. They was hot. I mean, they was this year. They was what the Braves was last year. So tip of the cap to them.
No doubt. My brother Vegas from BK. What's going on, good brother?
I'm not used to this mellow ass Kill. I don't really like that.
At all.
I don't like that, dude.
At all.
Oh, God. My brother Ralph out at Philadelphia. I know he's in a good mood. Eagles, Flyers, Phillies. I don't know about these Sixers right now, but you know.
Yeah, I can't focus on them right now. It's too early.
what they doing right now? I left the game. It was like a 2-point difference.
They hooping up against Milwaukee. The problem is Embiid just looked like he bored out there. Like it was the same thing in the Celtics game. Lazy passes and he's not playing like. I'm like, dog, this is the best team you've ever had. Yo, you just came back off of back-to-back almost MVPs. I'm thinking you come out here hype like, bro, he threw so many lazy passes in that Celtics game, and even now he's like not getting in the post. It seemed like he unbothered. Like you playing this like this game 48, nigga. This game number 2.
If he dives to the rim, man, I mean he getting 30 something now. That dude nigga average 50 points a game if he played in the paint. I mean I don't like him, but I respect that dude is a beast.
I don't get, bro. Here's the thing: you're playing Boston in Boston. Nigga, them fighting words. Then you play in Milwaukee. The first 2 games is up against 2 teams that could be Eastern Conference champ. You should be putting the smack down like, nah, nigga, we here. And this nigga, you know, out here chilling or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. I can't call. But back to the debates, the discussions. I missed y'all. We chopping it up about the year 1992, man. To me, one of the dopest years of hip hop, man. In R&B, some dope R&B, but hip hop was just bananas. Trying to come up with a top 5, like I got a top 10 list, and some of the albums I couldn't even put in slept on because they not slept on because people talk about them, but they just couldn't make my top 5. So we're gonna be talking about dopest MC of that year, top 5 albums of the year, some slept on albums, dopest producer, all that good stuff. Let's jump right into it. Top 5 albums of the year, y'all. I gotta go in no particular order. I gotta go with my favorite Gangstar album, Daily Operation. It's my favorite Gangstar album right there. I gotta go with Dead Series by Das, man. I know some people try to play them off like they was a one-hit wonder. Niggas don't know what the fuck they talking about, saying any type of nut ass shit like that. I gotta go with Business Never Personal, EPMD. You know what I mean? Crossover, Headbanger, all that great stuff. I gotta go with What the Album by Redman, and I gotta go with The Chronic by Dr. Dre. You know what I mean? Those are my top 5 albums, and so many other albums for me. We're gonna talk about this more during the show, but like just what 92 meant to you, you know. And for me, this is a huge year because this is my first year in college. It's my first year at Morgan State, so all of these albums just bring me back to that freshman year of Morgan. So we're gonna be talking about that 92. But there's still so many albums that I probably had about 12 albums listed that could have made the top 5, but those are the 5 that I had to go with. Vern, what do you have for your 5, man?
Chronic, Bizarre Ride, Far Side.
Okay.
Since Porsche ain't here, I'm gonna throw in Way Too Funky by DJ Quick. Shout out to UP.
For everybody watching, Porsche actually likes DJ Quick. So, normally when we throw shit to Porsche, it's because it's some Drake shit that people she don't like, but she loves Quick. So
Right. So that's 3. Three. I'm gonna go 4, Mecca and the Soul Brother. And I'll probably be the only person on this show that picks this one. I'm gonna go 3 years, 5 months, 2 days, Arrested Development for a lot of different reasons. I mean, I hung out with them a lot and stuff. I mean, that album did something different. So yeah, those are my 5.
All right.
I got several more, but yeah.
Yeah. We all gonna dive back into several more because it's way too much that came out this year. JR, what about you?
Well, all of mine is R&B for real, because I got like 12, to be honest.
Damn, I bugged out. I ain't even named my R&B joints. Give me 1 second with that. R&B, I mean, keep it a buck. I'm assuming most of us will probably have the same things. What's the 411, Mary? You know what I mean? You know what, JR, live with yours, because you don't R&B, so I don't even want to take it.
All right, well,
so you roll with
Mary.
yours.
I got Mary, Bobby, In Vogue, SWV, and CeCe Peniston with Finally.
Okay.
Those are the top 5, but there's more.
Okay.
All right. I got Mary. What's the 401? It's about that time. SWV. Here's the thing. Who on the TLC tip? I love that album.
It's on here.
I got that. That's
I love that album. I love that album.
Yep.
I got Love Deluxe by Sade. I'm ashamed that you left that out, JR. I know Bobby.
He can only do 5.
I know, but Sade is Sade, nigga. Sade should be knocking everybody out the box. You know what I mean?
We done had this discussion, so whatever. Call it what.
Well, I apologize, brother. You may have been sipping on that red cup. I don't remember this discussion. There's some Sade heat going on around here.
Mad about it too. Y'all know
I missed that. I missed that memo. What? You don't fuck with Sade?
No.
Well,
You don't fuck with him either, Vegas? You don't fuck with Sade either?
Thank
I
you,
like a
Vegas.
couple of songs, but
That's what I'm saying. I like a few, but not the whole album.
Yeah, man. I didn't know. I thought it was just Tanya. I literally wasn't going to marry Tanya because she don't like Sade. And I was like, nigga, I don't know if we can do this then. I mean, can we raise kids together if I fucking love Sade and you don't? You know what I mean? I had not. Tanya has found her tribe. I did not know.
And we all from New York.
All right. Yeah, maybe that shit's too depressing for y'all. Y'all like, I'm going to jump in front of the A train, man. Let me tell y'all how many fucked up nights I couldn't get home because somebody was on the fucking tracks. Every night trying to get home, there was some type of hoopla with the damn trains, man. Yeah, maybe it is a New York thing. I can't call it. So those are the 5 I got. Vern, what you got for your R&B?
R&B, I'm going to go Love Deluxe. What's the 411? Funky Divas. It's About Time, and I was gonna say TLC, but since that's already taken, I'm gonna go with the Boomerang soundtrack.
Yeah.
Very dope pick with that. Very dope. All right, no doubt. Vay, what you got up for your top 5 R&B and hip hop? If you got them both.
I didn't do R&B, but a lot of what y'all named would have been right in there for me. To be honest, I got all those albums, except for Sade. I got the best stuff though. Don't get me wrong.
That. I got that.
Once I rock with heavy.
I got that.
All right. So on hip hop, got The Chronic, got Daily Operation, which is my favorite Gangstar album. What the Album by Redman, Das Effects, Dead Serious. I mean, even to this day when I put that on, it's timeless. Kill My List was damn near identical to yours, but I was like, let me just try to be a little bit different because I was going to put EPMD in there. So I got Ice Cube, The Predator.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an album that a lot of times I know even with myself, I don't talk about it as much as I always say Death Certificate and sometimes America's Most Wanted. But that Predator album was kind of mean, you know? Especially to follow something like Death Certificate. It was different. It was timely, right? With the riots and all that shit. With songs
What was the single? What was the single on that?
Wasn't it Check Yourself? No,
Today was a good day.
Now that was like the second single.
Right.
Like the first single was Wicked.
Wicked. Right.
Wicked.
Right.
The first single was Wicked. Then Today Was a Good Day. Then Check Yourself.
Right.
All right. Yeah, no doubt. Bro, what you got for your top 5?
I got Business Never Personal, The Chronic, Dead Serious, Predator, and Runaway Slave. Showbiz and AG.
It's one of my slept on joints that I got in the cut for that joint. Any R&B?
I didn't do R&B. But most of what y'all said, that Boomerang soundtrack, that was a good pull. I like that album a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. Eddie, what's good, bro?
What's up?
Everything good, B?
Yeah,
what you got for your top 5?
So for albums, I got hip hop and R&B. So for my hip hop, I got Mecca and the Soul Brother, The Chronic, What the Album, Daily Operation, and Don't Sweat the Technique.
Okay. And what R&B joints?
I mean, it was, I will say, man, it's tough because, like, doing the research, like, you realize, like, how many dope albums dropped, like, in 92, right? Like, it is wild. But, yeah, so for R&B, I got, and both of these lists is, like, no particular order. I got What's the 411, It's About Time, Who on the TLC Tip, Love Deluxe, and Funky Divas.
Okay. All right. No doubt. Now, let's talk a little bit more about these other albums that came out. Because when I did my list, I didn't keep in mind, I didn't even include Mecca and the Soul Brother, which is a 5 mic classic. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even name that joint. I mean, you got Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop, Diamond D. I was just listening to that with Naomi the other day. To me, another 5 mic classic, but it just couldn't fit into that top 5. What do y'all think it was about 92? Like, you know, I mean, let me break down some of the things I saw about the tide of 92. One, I felt like we were seeing the beginnings and the origins of 2 of the dopest producers that we would ever see with Pete Rock and Premier. Like, I felt like this was their coming out party. You know, 17 Arena was dope. I mean, Just to Get a Rep is my favorite Gangstar song, but I think Daily Operation Time, like, you know, 92, where we're like, hell, Premier got some shit. Like, I can remember being at Morgan having those Pete Premier debates on who was better. Pete's coming out with, you know, Mecca and the Soul Brother. So we're seeing the origination of that. But the big thing is, I mean, and I think we've all named it, was The Chronic. You know what I mean? Would you say in 92 that this was, do you feel like, because people always talk about how like Nas brought it back to the East Coast, but to keep it a buck, all the albums we're naming, you know, outside of Burns, you know, Far Side, which is a whole nother question, because even though they're from LA, they don't seem LA-ish. And I've always wondered that. Like, do LA dudes like people like fucking Far Side? Because they were very New Yorkish. You know what I mean? Like, same thing with Cypress Hill. I thought Cypress Hill was from Cypress Hill, Brooklyn. Like, the Alcoholics don't sound West Coasters, but neither here nor there. Do you feel like The Chronic was such a big album that when Illmatic dropped, that and the Wu dropped in 93, that they had to take it back from the West Coast?
The Chronic was a force of nature. I mean, I don't care what coast you were on. That I had never, to me, in my years of hip hop, whatever, that was the most universal album in hip hop, period. I mean, and you got to think, who's the most famous rapper of all time now? Famous. I'm talking about white suburban soccer moms and in the hood.
Snoop.
Yes. I mean, and that was the birth of him. So that album was unlike anything I'd ever heard.
Okay. What do you think, Big?
Yeah, I agree with Vern. I feel like The Chronic was so big, it kind of cast a shadow over everything else that was happening. Whether, you know, it was any of these albums that came out, because Snoop was so new. Every verse he was already killing it. Like, he already killed it with Deep Cover. But every verse he had on the album was crazy. The beats were crazy. They had this group of new cats, right? That we didn't know. So we hearing Corrupt for the first time, and Lady of Rage and RBX, and it just kind of put all the attention on Dr. Dre, Death Row, even though we had these other albums that are like classics and legends, right? Being introduced like Redman and shit like that. But it was just that because the Chronic, what made the Chronic so different from the rest of those albums is pop culture. Regardless of the content, the Chronic was popular, and it didn't compromise any of the gangster shit, anything they had to say that was righteous, right? Compared to the riot situation, it addressed like beefs. It did everything. You know what I'm saying? So it just really cast a shadow over hip hop as this thing. Like you said, it didn't matter where you were. Don't be fooled by those crowds at the Source Awards. New York was fucking with the Chronic and Death Row and heavy, like heavy. But I think that was it. It was just the biggest thing out, you know, at that time. So
it's funny here because I'm looking at the Chronic dropped December 15th, 1992, and that makes sense to me because, Veg, I don't know how it was for you your freshman year. A lot of these albums that I'm talking about was that first semester of Morgan, moving in, dorms, all that stuff. So with the Chronic not dropping until December, I was already home for my first semester of college. Because in my mind, I'm just like, yo, why don't I remember us banging a Chronic like that? And I mean, of course we did, but that second semester. You know, whereas a lot of these other albums was, I remember moving in, meet people, whatever. So this makes perfect sense to me. Like, because I'm like, yo, I just don't remember it like that. But that's because all that other stuff was the summer of graduation, you know, summer of your high school graduation, going to Morgan, freshman orientation, moving into the dorm. That's why a lot of these other albums stuck with me a whole lot more than the Chronic. Not saying I don't love the Chronic, because I do, but that makes perfect sense that it dropped.
Let me just give you one example for myself that's comparable, especially since we went to the same school. For you, you know, you had a lot of these albums happen at those memorable moments in your life, right? I'm about to go to college. I graduated. It's the summer. For me, it was Purple Tape. That summer, that's what I was playing, like religiously. And obviously, you know, I'm a hip hop head, but I have all this other stuff on my mind, you know, changing my life and blah, blah, blah. And when I got to school, that's all I heard. Purple Tape. So I would feel the same way if something else great came out in December, and I'm like, shit, I know when I arrived, shit, it was Boot Camp and Woo and all of that, you know, so Nas, right? So,
Yeah, so that makes perfect sense that it dropped like that. Bro, what do you think? Do we feel like the West Coast owned hip hop in 92 with the Chronic? Or would you say it was a 50-50 split?
I think the Chronic was like undeniable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how we are, where we from, like we don't be that receptive to stuff immediately, you know what I'm saying? Like from other coasts, you know what I mean? Like not now we are, but like back, remember how we were back then, you know what I'm saying?
Oh no, back then, I mean, a lot of hip hop was very regional. You weren't from New York, you wasn't shit, you know what I mean? Jersey and Philly was scrapping for respect, LA was scrapping for respect, you know.
Yeah, the Chronic to me was just undeniable, and the impact was so big. And like Big said, like the impact was more than just the music. It was the culture, some of the sayings and the dressing.
Dog, I mean, we was all we were saying was these nuts. Like that. You know, like it was literally like we were doing the skits. It wasn't like you said, it wasn't just music. We doing the skits right along with it. Yo, you got that what? These nuts. Like that just was part of the everyday talk now.
Yeah, so I think that album is I don't want to say in total control, but it was shifted to that area. You know what I'm saying? So where we needed somebody, some East Coast artists to really come out and do something crazy to kind of shift the momentum back over. You know what I'm saying? But the Chronic was just different, man. Like 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 you said, the skits and everything. Like we was quoting that shit. Like some of those songs, like the bitches ain't shit. When I first heard it, I was like,
what?
Like that shit was just like they ain't give a like that's a I don't give a fuck. Like I was like, but I couldn't stop listening to it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the impact of it. And let's not talk.
Now, how old were you when The Chronic came out?
92. I was 10.
So I could only imagine a 10-year-old hearing bitches ain't shit for the first fucking time. Like that's like some old Rudy Ray Moore. That's like seeing Paul for the first time almost. Like nigga, bitches ain't shit. Like not at all. Like don't respect them one bit. Right. Man, so as a 10-year-old, that's some old mind blowing. That's some brain emoji exploding type shit right there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now I feel you, Eddie. What about you? You're muted.
My bad. I feel like as far as like a singular album that had the biggest impact, I would say The Chronic. But at the same time, like there was so much coming out from New York and the East Coast, that mixtapes and all that. Like for me, it was still dominant. But as far as like a singular album, maybe The Chronic had that. But at the same time, like that was pretty much it. And like Farside, right? I remember my neighbors, like that was the first time I heard the Farside. My neighbors were pumping that album and stuff. But yeah, to address that, I also feel like with regards to like the Farside and other groups not sounding like the West, I feel like it's a little bit unfair to say that, just because I feel like when you look at like the NWAs and like, you know, what Dre did and then Snoop and all that, right? They took a particular sound and it became popularized. But I feel like the West Coast was always very diverse, whether it's like the up north Bay Area influence or even like stuff that was different movements that was going on in LA, which, you know, obviously I wasn't there back then, but obviously find out later, right? Because you could listen to it. And just like with the East Coast, there wasn't a real singular sound, right? There was a lot of diversity in the East Coast. I just feel like, especially us being from the East, when that was primarily what we're hearing from the West, it's like that particular sound. Then it's easy to say, yeah, that sounds more East Coast vibe, when really they were already diverse, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I just know for me, bro, I don't know how your age group felt about this. I remember niggas in Philly didn't fuck with the Roots because they was like, they always sound, they sound like they from New York. They shoot their videos in New York. They, you know what I mean? So they felt some kind of way. So I always felt like what the West Coast people feel like, you know, because when I look at the Alcoholics, I felt like they were more welcomed on the East Coast because they were very East Coast-ish. You know what I mean? 93 Till Infinity was a very East Coast-ish beat. You know what I mean? But neither here nor there. Tell me, what are some of the other albums? Because I got slept on albums, but I feel like, here's the thing. I got slept on albums, and then I got really slept on albums because some of my slept on albums, people name. But then I got another level. So let me just go with my regular slept on albums. I got Heavy Rhyme Experience Volume 1 with Brand New Heavies, when they was rocking out with Grand Puba, Master Ace, Large Professor, Heavy Rhyme Experience. That joint was crazy. What's up, bro?
That's a good one. That was a good album, man. God.
Yeah, that joint with Puba. To this day, he got one of my favorite quotes. If the show ain't for dough, then you won't see the bro. Like, that's one of my favorite quotes right there.
Bro, I saw that joint. I saw that joint when I was digging, and for whatever reason, I must have been bugging that day. I did not
go back and pray they still got it, man. Go back and pray they still got it, man. I would love to get that on vinyl. I'm like you, Rel, Runaway Slave, Showbiz, and AG. Again, that takes me back to moving into my dorm. I met my old head Derek from Philly. He was playing that shit, 40 Acres and the Mule, like all Fat Pockets, just all the joints that was off. That was crazy. I know me and Puba and Alamo are the only people who like this album. I fucking love Real to Real. You know what I
Real.
mean?
Come on, it's on my list. What are you talking
I mean,
about?
no, but here's the thing. A lot of people are like, I ain't fuck with that album. See, Vega ain't fuck with that album. See, so again, it's me, Poopa, and Alamo. We the only three people who like that album. And I got Blue Funk by Heavy D, which I feel like is. Yeah, that was 92.
Yeah,
That was
Man, that
I was
would've
seeing
been
like
on my
some
top
conflicting.
five. Yeah.
I thought that was 93.
I was seeing some. Yeah, I
Maybe it was.
some
I looked up on something. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'll come back for my really slept. I'll come back to my really slept on ones after everybody else goes. Veg, what are some of your slept on joints, man, from that year?
All right, so I only picked 3. Obviously, looking at a list, just so much. I had Eric B. and Rakim, Don't Sweat the Technique. I think people don't talk enough about that album, man. It's a lot of joints. In a lot of cases, more, except for Paid in Full, obviously, more really good records on there than some of the albums that people do talk about from them. And even on the production side, right? It got into that jazzy soul bag on a smoother tip, but it worked. You know what I'm saying?
Mahogany on that album?
Nah, that's on Let the Rhythm In.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is I Want to Know What's on Your Mind. Don't Sweat the Technique, obviously. I think Know the Ledge is on here.
Know the Ledge.
Joints on here.
See, the hard part for me was I couldn't really count those because that was off the House Party soundtrack. Was Know What's on Your Mind. Know the Ledge was off of Juice. You know what I mean? So I felt like part of that album was almost like we had already heard those songs. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, true, but we don't know if it was already planned for the album and they gave it up for a soundtrack.
Well, I know Juice they didn't because Hank Shockley and did
they
that.
created it for that.
But neither here nor there. I need to go back and listen to that album because I just never liked Don't Sweat the Technique. The video to me with the white girls was just, and I wasn't even thinking white girls, Black Rakim, but the video just threw me, and I was like, I probably listened to the album twice, but if you co-sign it, I need to go back and listen because I probably haven't listened to that joint in years.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's because it's different from the rest of their catalog.
All right.
What else I have? I mentioned this before on your show. X-Clan Exodus.
Oh man, all right, yep.
People haven't heard it.
Yes,
missing a fine piece of hip hop history.
Yeah,
to not get mentioned.
Yeah,
from the lyrics to the beats.
Yes,
it's excellent. It's excellent.
I got a theory as why that doesn't get mentioned, but I'm gonna wait till the end for that one.
Okay. And the other one I have, because I always hear about the debut, but I never hear about Return of the Funky Man by Lord Finesse.
Oh, that's a good.
Because to me, obviously I like the debut, but he stepped it up a level with the bars, the beats. I think this was the first time you heard Big Al on the track, I believe, on this album. Very dope album. I mean, Lord Finesse just doesn't get mentioned as much as an MC, as an influential MC, really, in those early days. Even the look, you know what I'm saying? It was his whole style was kind of like his for a while, till Nas kind of took some of that. So.
I think the hard part with Finesse, I always felt like when people love Big L, and I love Big L, nobody get this twisted. I just felt like he was so much of a Lord Finesse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt like Finesse was like, yo, you better than me, take the bag, run with it. That's good. You know what I mean? Because it's like when people are like, they love Big L, I'm like, I fuck with Big L too. But when I heard Big L, I was like, yo, he sounds very Lord Finesse. You know what I mean? So, and since that was Finesse's man, I've heard people kind of compare it to Fat Joe and Big Pun. My only difference was Fat Joe was never as close to being as nice as Big Pun. You know what I mean? Whereas I felt like Finesse was nice. You know what I mean?
Right.
If anything, his name doesn't get mentioned enough as the best producer on the mic either. You know what I mean? Because I don't think people respect Finesse in the production bag too. You know what I mean? So, but we're gonna talk about that later too. We're gonna dive into that too. Vern, what you got for some of your slept on joints?
I got just second Exodus with Vague. Hey man, yeah. Brother J is one of my favorite MCs that never gets mentioned in favorite. what I love most about him is his enunciation. He was so clear on every word that he said. You could hear it. And my favorite joint off of there is FTP. That mother's dope. I just know that they sampled Clarence Bills had to be astronomical.
I wonder, because again in '92, because we passed the Bismarck. I need a haircut. I don't think so yet. I think that's '93.
Okay.
Where a lot of the sampling after that Biz sample suit, that's when everything just went downhill for sampling.
Yeah. I'm gonna go real to real, and it's primarily for one song. That's one of my favorite beats of all time in hip hop. It's just so smooth. And then my last one, I'm gonna go F you, don't take it personal. Fushnickers.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know, man. That first joint, True Fushnik, that's Tip. La Smooth, that's Tip. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, for real?
Yeah, that's produced by a Tribe Called Quest, but that's Tip. That's Tip. You know what I mean? So, because I never forget, I'll talk about that album for mine. That's under my really slept on album list. Like, man, when you put on True Fushnik, when I hit play, I was like, God damn, like that. Yeah. That's the album. That just sets you in the mood right there, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So,
hey, I might have asked this question before on this podcast, but because I was probably too young to really think about it at the time. But did y'all think that Fushnickers were biting off a Dow's effects? No.
At the time, I didn't, because I felt like they were just super rapping. I didn't hear a lot of diggity. I could be wrong. Keep in mind, I'm 92, I'm 18, so I'm not. And y'all know me. I don't know. I'm always into the beat, so I'm not really listening to lyrics. Off the top, it wasn't. I just remember seeing a video and these niggas was in a fucking Chinese box, taking out a box in the field. I apologize. Naomi's working with me. Asian box. I don't know if no, it's Chinese food. I can say Chinese food. I'm learning when I can't say Chinese and I say Asian. So they wasn't a Chinese food box. But I thought it was dope. Like I don't remember nobody in my crew being like, oh, they biting dice. It was just like, yo, like dude got an ill style because he, going real fast. He had the dreads. What are you gonna say, Veg?
Chip.
One quick thing. Asian box has a whole other meaning to it as well.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. It's very true. See what happens when I try to fucking get politically correct in my old age? I fuck up everything. I called it an Asian box, that they were rapping in an Asian box. Look at that.
Right. As a whole nother website.
Whole nother website. Right. 3 niggas inside an Asian box. Wow. Rapping while in an Asian box. So
it's one nigga who's like, oh, I saw that video. But you know what though? Like, I'm trying to remember. Was Twista out by then?
I don't think so. And if he was, I wasn't tapped into Twista. So he may have been, but I wasn't tapped in.
I think I didn't look at them as a Das Effects like ripoff, but I felt like I heard that fast rapid style before, and that's what I paid attention to. Because I didn't really look at them as originating anything except for the kung fu side of it. Right. By the way dressed. So
right, yeah, that's funny. But Fushnik. Vern, we did yours. JR, any slept on? Why do I keep forgetting R&B? Let me go back to my slept on R&B. Slept on R&B. I had Finally by CeCe Peniston. I love that album. I love CeCe Peniston. I have Unplugged by Mariah Carey. Nobody really talks about her Unplugged album like that. Here's another joint. If I Ever Fall in Love by Shy. You know what I mean? And again, this is 92 at Morgan. I just remember that single being out, playing it all over campus. They went to Howard, which is right down the road from Morgan. So it was like, yo, this is dope. They had the joint Comforter, which was dope too. And then they had a follow-up song. Do you remember what that was, JR?
Baby, I'm Yours.
Baby, I'm Yours. That I really fucked with. They did that on Howard's campus. So those are the 3 that I had. as slept on. Veg, you didn't do R&B. Vern, do you have any R&B slept on?
I just want to come back to R&B and talk about how big, and you probably wouldn't think of this. If it weren't for TLC's emergence, I don't think we get the Atlanta explosion in music, period. Which, I mean, if you think about, where did Outkast's first song come out on? On a LaFace Christmas record. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things.
Oh, it was the LaFace Christmas record, right? That's what you.
Yeah. I mean, but there's no LaFace.
There's no LaFace without TLC.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and then you put the, Rico and them did Waterfall with TLC. So there's a lot of stuff that TLC, and I ain't gonna front, bro. We partying. Ain't Too Proud to Beg, man. We was East Coast stomping up like a mother. I mean, it was just hype.
Ain't Too Proud to Beg was my shit, man. That shit was crazy.
Hat to the Back. It's a lot of joints that I love off of that.
The Hat to the Back video version?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What About Your Friends? Baby, baby.
Hello.
There's a lot of bangers on that TLC album, man.
It is.
Not to mention, T-Boz had the fly cut. Niggas was in love with T-Boz. Shorties was... Niggas was in love with Chili, you know what I mean? So it was, they had that style, they had that steez. And I remember just seeing Ain't Too Proud to Beg. I kept saying that when I went to his Temptation play. And T was like, can you stop saying Ain't Too Proud to Beg, nigga? It's called, Ain't Too Proud is the Temptations. Ain't Too Proud to Beg is TLC, nigga. You getting too fucking musical. But I just remember being like, oh snap, these shorties talking about they want some? Like, they like, yo, if I want it in the morning or the middle of the night, I'm like, do tell. Like, word? Like, that wasn't, women weren't talking like that. Like, I know this generation is like, oh, niggas always, chicks always dick nowadays. Not in 1991 and 92, they weren't. Like, that was a no-no. So, for them to come out and, left out with the condom on the joint, like, it was like,
she from Philly?
Yeah, she from the crib. She from the crib.
All right. So I'm gonna hold the rest of it to when we talk about memories and stuff, because I mean that's Jack the Rapper. It's all kind of stuff tied into TLC and the Atlanta emerging scene and everything. So yeah.
No, but that's a good point, bro. And that may be a show that we need to do where we're talking about maybe the foundations of things that blew up. It's why I haven't enjoyed a Roots album in years, but I buy all their albums because I feel like without the Roots, we don't get so much of what has come out of Philadelphia, without them. So even though I don't like a lot of their music, I still buy their albums. I buy Questlove's books just because I really appreciate what they were able to do for the city. And I don't think enough people really give them the props, not just for being what they do, but for what they did for Philadelphia. But again, most people who ain't from Philly probably wouldn't care. You know what I mean? Same way maybe people from Atlanta really wouldn't care that TLC kind of put them on. But then you start thinking about all the music we wouldn't have gotten. Then you have to start caring because we don't get no beans. We may not get Freeway. We don't get State Prop. We don't get Jaguar. We don't get Jasmine Sullivan. We don't get Kendrick the Family. So we don't get music. We don't get Flowetry. You know what I mean? So that's huge. Yeah. What are some of your slept on R&B joints?
All right. The first one is going to be Shantae Moore's Precious.
Damn, I forgot that came out, man.
Yeah, a lot of people really don't talk about it. I mean, I think everybody knows Love taking over and it's all right, but I just think the album came out just a little too late, you know what I mean? And then that, but then I get
hold on for a sec. Hold on. With Deshaunte, tell me this. Do you think I felt like she came out like almost right on the cusp of music changing, especially R&B. So we fucked with those first two, but I felt like Shantae reminded me more like a young Regina Belle, like that era of music. You know what I mean?
I agree. That's why I think
into the hip hop, you know what I mean? The Mary, the SWVs, all of that stuff. And I felt like Shantae came in right in time just to get her name. Like if that Love's Taking Over would have came out in 93, I don't even think people would even be talking about Shantae.
I think, that's why I think she came out just a little too late. I think she should have came out in the beginning of 92. Because by the summer of 92, it was a wrap. Like, everything has changed. Mary done changed everything. So it was like, she came out too late, and this came out in September. So it was like, nobody was caring about it. Girls weren't looking at her. They was looking at Mary now. So it was a whole different thing. So, but her album is dope, though. To have, like, George Duke on that joint was crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Then I'm saying Silk's Lose Control.
Very slept on album. Very slept on. I forgot about
that. Who else is it slept on? Prince's Love Symbol.
What's on the album, JR?
I was just about to ask.
Seven, Sexy Motherfucker. What else was on that album? Oh God. Seven. No. Cream is not on that one. Cream is on Diamonds and Pearls. Yeah, I know 7 was the biggest record on it. And My Name is Prince.
Okay.
That was on there. Yeah, that's the 3 I could come off the top with. Who else? Yeah. Trey Lorenz. Nobody talks about that album at all. That 92 album, nobody talks about at all. Lorenz, the dude that did I'll Be There with Mariah.
All right. Did he have any solo joints? I mean, I know he had this album, but did he have any big songs? Like,
the biggest song was on this was Someone to Hold, and Mariah's on it with him. She's doing the background vocals with him. So, yeah, that, and I'm trying to think of one more that's left. Keep it going on with High Five. And my last one is gonna be Shaka Khan's The Woman I Am.
I saw that.
Okay. All right. Ro, what you got for your slept on?
I had it written slept on. So this is another thing. Like, I probably wouldn't even have heard this album really if it wasn't for like the impact of the Chronic. This album was really good. Music, The Drive-By by was on it. Was fire. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know at that time if I would have gave that a listen like that if it wasn't for, the West Coast influence, like the Chronic, you know what I'm saying? So that was on my slept on. I had what the album had slept on because when people mention Redman, they mention Muddy Waters usually. Some people like There's a Dark Side, but just the introduction of Redman on what the album was, come on, man, that shit was crazy. Tonight's the Night, Time for Some Action. Come on, Tonight's the Night, one of the best songs. Like, come on, bro. Like,
the funny thing is I've heard people who again, that's just a 5 Mic classic. I thought that was just a hip hop fact, but I've run into. Well, here's the problem. When you run into people on Twitter, fucking Crisscross is a legendary group. So I can't even talk about what I talk about on Twitter because it could be somebody I'm talking with who's 10 years old. But a lot of people on Twitter would be like, what was I? And I'm like, I nigga. I almost got to ask immediately, how old was you? What the fuck do you mean was I? Time for some action? You put that shit on? Rated R, watch your Nuggets, Tonight's the Night, How to Roll a Blunt? Nigga, you had to be in kindergarten if you wasn't fucking with that album. You know what I mean? But here nor there. But I get you on that because I have come across a lot of people who's like, what was I?
Right. And I had Cool G Rap, Live and Let Die, slept on as well. I had one of my favorite Cool G Rap songs, which was On the Run. Which was on there, and
that remix was crazy. The remix
was crazy. With the video, that was crazy. So those are my slept on songs.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, what about you?
Well, first one, I don't think anyone mentioned this one. I got Positive K, The Skills That Pay the Bills. Because here's the thing, at the time, I just knew the album was going to be corny because, I Got a Man, and, that song got played out, and I just wasn't even thinking about it. But recently revisited it, I want to say a few years back, and I was like, damn, this shit is pretty dope, you know what I mean? And I feel like he got a bad rap because, he's pretty dope. The album wasn't bad at all. So I got that. I'll say Ice Cube, The Predator. Just because I'll say, his first 2 albums, either, America's Most Wanted and Death Certificate, right? not even argue. Like those are his two best albums, right? I feel like consensus, like between the two, I think people go back and forth. But aside from Today Is a Good Day, right, which everyone knows, but The Predator wasn't a bad album. I just feel like it didn't meet the standard of the other ones. I also have Music to Drive By, and what else? Let me see. I think that's pretty much. I mean, maybe Runaway Slave. I'll say Slept On. I know y'all mention it, but to be honest, like I don't see too many people mention that album aside from like this particular circle. And like I know Kill you champion it. Like maybe like I hear Penny talking about it as well. But outside of that, I don't hear too many people talking about that album.
Yeah, I really don't hear too many people talk about Showing AG. You know what I mean? And if they do, they're talking about the Primo remix of the first single off their second album, Goodfellas. But yeah, Showing AG was dope. And it's funny you mentioned Positive K, because while you were coming from the aspect of it was going to be corny, I thought it was going to be bananas, because the Positive K that I grew up on in '88 was Step Up Front, which is one of my favorite hip-hop songs ever. Night Shift is on here, but Night Shift was floating around back in like 90, and Kane was on the chorus part talking his shit, and that shit was crazy. So when I heard You Got a Man, I was like, oh, this whack, nigga. Like, how you go from Step Up Front and this, and the joint he had with Light, God, what was that joint, Vague, with Light? I'm
Not Having It or something?
Yeah, Not Having It. Not Having It was dope. So I'm hearing like, Paz K, Step Up Front, I'm Not Having It, Night Shift. I'm like, yo, his debut album gonna be crazy. And I heard You Got a Man. I'm like, bro, like, nah, this ain't it.
I hated that song. I'm gonna tell you another reason I hated that song, and I hate when rappers do this. You have a girl in the video, but your voice is the voice of the girl on the song. Why can't y'all go get a chick to say that part? You know what I'm talking about, Kev?
I know exactly what you're talking about. The only asterisk that I could put on that is the only thing I compare to is maybe this is what happened. Back in those days when studio time was $1 million, maybe, because this is what happened with Master Ace with me and the Biz. Biz was supposed to come. He didn't come, so Ace referenced the vocals like Biz, so Biz would know when to do it. Biz never showed up, so then they had to drop it like that, because it was like, we don't have time to go back in and pay for more studio time to get Biz to come in. So that's why we got that. The only thing that I could remotely say is maybe they were trying to get a female to come in and she didn't, and it was like, fuck it, you gotta do it yourself. But nah, I'm with you 100%. Like, dog, yo, you in Brooklyn, yo, there's some shorty somewhere on the block that can learn these rhymes or whatever like that, so that you can get this shit off. My really slept on list, Exodus, like Vern and Vague said. Time's Up, K Solo, his second album. I forgot the lead single, Lies, the rumors, the lies, but I thought that shit was crazy. House of Pain, self-titled album, I really fucked with. We had Jump Around, of course, is not the Jump Around Pete Rock remix that we all love, but the OG Jump Around was dope. And I know me and Juju and Chi Ali are probably the only three people who like this album, but the fabulous Chi Ali, man, you know what I mean? AJ Number, the number, I used to fuck with that video. Truth be told, the album wasn't that great, but I really loved the remixes, the Funky Lemonade and Roadrunner. The remixes were much better than the original. I think the Beatnuts did do the first album, but this is the Beatnuts. Maybe I think this is the Beatnuts even before the EP. So this is like the Beatnuts just starting to make beats. So I don't think that they were in their groove yet or anything like this.
Hold on, Kill. I'm 10 years old. I love Funky Lemonade, bro.
You're 10 years old. You should like
that shit was fire to me, man.
You can rock out Mr. Bus and I wouldn't be mad at you.
Yeah, the remix for that and Roadrunner to me were crazy. It was almost like, and if you look at the remix for Roadrunner, you could see how his voice was maturing a little bit. He wasn't the same little kid anymore. The Beatnuts probably kind of got some beats under their belt because those beats were much doper. All right.
Hey, Kill, hold on. Is Let the Horns Blow on that album?
Yeah.
That mug was dope. I don't know if it's a remix, but it was a posse cut. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit, that was his only album before the nigga had to go on the run. You know what I mean? So, I tell you, here's the funniest story ever, man. I'm in a barbershop around the corner from my crib. I live in Waldorf, Maryland. Nigga walks in, looks like Chi Ali. I'm like, oh shit, nigga looks like Chi Ali. Fucking this Chi Ali. I'm like, nigga, fuck are you doing in Waldorf, Maryland or whatever like that? Me and he goes to the same barber I go to. I was like, yo, get the fuck out of here. That's when I brought his book, but the damn font is so goddamn small I can't read it. But here's the thing. MC of the Year for 1992. I'm intrigued. I'm going Snoop for the MC of the Year. Runner up, I got Redman.
Yeah.
Vern, what about you?
The exact two that you picked in the exact order.
JR?
The exact two.
I gotta stop fucking forgetting about R&B with JR sitting right here with this red shirt.
Nah,
Mary is my singer of the year too. Mary is my singer of the year for that year. Vern, sing.
Well, that's the album of the year. But if we're gonna say singer, I'm gonna say Cheryl Gamble.
That part.
Who's Cheryl Gamble?
Coco.
Coco.
SWV.
Oh, SWV. Oh, y'all pulled out the government. I ain't that deep in the game like y'all niggas. I'm like, Cheryl Campbell. I'm like, damn.
But you know what? Hold on.
Running for office.
About somebody
But you know what?
Right. I'm like, Cheryl Campbell. I'm like, I ain't like School B. Like Coco, I don't even, it's SWV. I'm like, Coco, I thought her name was Chili. I'm trying to put together names. I'm like, okay, Coco.
But you know, it could have been any one of the In Vogue women, but I'm gonna stick with Coco. Yeah.
All right. GR, what about you? MC of the year and singer of the year.
Well, I'm gonna go with Coco as well. I mean, her voice, she came in singing better than anybody, to be honest. Like, so she gets that, and I'm trying to think who after her. Like you said, all the In Vogue girls. I mean, put them together, they did the damn thing, so I give it to them.
All right, Veg, what about you? MC of the year. And runner-up.
I have the two you have, but I have them reversed.
Okay.
Redman had an album.
Snoop was just features.
Yeah,
great
true.
point.
It's trust me, as an MC, it's pretty easy to get busy when you only got a 16.
Right.
Adrift. Anybody? You know? That was me. Man, you know?
Yes, they came through the cut. The only guest feature on me and Vern's I Don't Mind album is Vay.
Right. But Snoop, trust me, I was thinking about Snoop heavy to be number one. On the R&B side, I know I love Mary, but talking about singing, I'm gonna go with En Vogue, just as a group, because I think that's what hit me.
Yeah,
like SWV, I really liked the song, and then obviously they can sing, but when I first heard En Vogue, that was like church. I was like, damn, and like all of them can sing. Like it just blew me away. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely go with En Vogue.
That intro to Hold On.
Yes.
Oh, man, Terry. Yeah.
Come on, man. Yeah. I'm talking about when all of them harmonize at the end.
They come. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Right.
Yeah. Tell me this, Gerald. What did you feel? I didn't love Funky Divas. I love Born to Sing. Love it. Like, love it to death. Didn't love Funky Divas. How did you feel about that as a follow-up album to, were you happy with it?
We did an episode on Catch That about that. It's coming out in a couple of weeks. And what I just said was, even though we played the album like crazy, thank God for them great singles. The singles carry the album for real, because if you listen to this album now, you listen to them album cuts, you be like, damn, wait a minute. I really like these songs, like for real. Like, you think about it for a second, but them singles were so strong. Like, it carried, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but Born to Sing is the best. For real. But
were you happy with it? Was this a letdown for you, or were you like hyped for
when my mom got it, so I was just obviously listening to what she was.
I forgot. You were what, 7 years old?
Yeah. But
he like, nigga, I ain't had no say what got played in my house. I just you asked me 7-year-old like, were you disappointed by a sophomore album?
That's what I'm gonna talk about, getting to that. But yeah, she was happy with it, but again, she always went back to Born to Sing, because she did like the rawness and all that of it. But she was alright with Funky Divas though. But you know, that was played around the house, so obviously I loved it. So,
all right, what were you gonna say, Brian?
It's funny that we mentioned this album like earlier this week. I hate the chorus to Free Your Mind. Free your mind and the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shocked. That is so corny to me. But and I was just thinking about it this week, so I just had to get that off.
I think it is a moral to the story. He's like, nah, I just wanted to shit. No moral to the story, Kill. Just whack ass choruses.
But Kill, I got a question too. All right, so you say 92, right? So in 91, there's albums that came out in December. Can we still like make them a part of 92?
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, bro, it's the hard part about these shows for me is y'all know I don't remember shit at 48. Right. So I gotta go to Wikipedia. And a lot of times Wikipedia, they don't even put them in the order. So yeah, if you have some albums that came out in December, please follow me.
It was just true, honestly, that I was still rocking in 92, and that was Tevin's debut, and it was Michael's Dangerous.
Okay.
Those came out in November, like at the end of November. So obviously in 92, we was still rocking to it. So
right. And for folk watching, whenever I do end of the year list, I always go December to December because there's too many dope albums that drop in December that aren't gonna make. You know, probably I haven't lived with it long enough for it to make that year. So for me personally, I just do December to December. So yeah, by all means.
Okay, well then I can change mine because then I'm gonna say Tevin was the singer of 1992 then. So
okay, I ain't mad at that. Vay, did I give yours? Did you do your? You did the flip. You did the flip. Rao, who you got for MC of the year and runner up?
I got Redman, MC of the year, and Ice Cube as runner up. Only because he had an album, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Snoop was killing, but Snoop ain't have an album yet. Feel me? So I'm gonna go with Redman and Cube.
All right. And Eddie, what you got? You on mute too.
Yeah, I'm also going Redman and Snoop. Even though Snoop didn't have an album, I just feel like the impact, right? Especially like, you know, all the features and like that deep cover joint was like, I feel like, man, like when we heard that shit, like even though it was a West Coast joint, like it felt like we felt it. Like there's a reason why Fat Joe and Big Pun remade it like for the East Coast, right? You know, it was hitting like that, you know. So,
Eddie, you make a good point that I just thought about. I don't know if people still do it this way. Dre set up the anticipation for Snoop by doing that the same way. You remember, because I had cats from up top that was down here, kept telling me about this nigga Redman, and we would see little snippets of them, like on different videos or whatever. So you kind of had an anticipation for when he finally dropped his own thing. I don't know if we get that anymore. Where everybody got to be a star now. Whereas before you pay dues, you carry records. Then you might get a verse. I mean, hell, Tupac was a dancer. You know what I mean? And then he got his shine. I don't know if we get that anymore.
Well, I mean, nowadays, bro, with the internet, you don't have to pay dues no more because it was kind of like when I first started at 889, I was the record dude. The first day I started, they were like, "Yo, all them records over there, put all them shits in order," and I was happy to do it. I was happy as shit. It wasn't no motherfucker. I put these records. You know who more than happy to do it. You know what I mean? Kill, go on a 7-Eleven run for us. All right, no doubt. I'll be back. Like, it wasn't none of that. Whereas now we're just like, fuck y'all radio station. I start my own podcast. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because the internet, you don't have to get on anymore. You could just do it yourself type thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think there's really no place for it to be like, okay, it's like, why am I carrying records? You know what I mean? Like, why am I doing this? Like, because in that day, it was like, yo, I want to get on with EPMD. I'm down for whatever. Yeah. Why did people carry records back in the Flash days? Because I want to get into the party and I want to be down with Flash and Kool Herc or whoever's spinning. So you did whatever was necessary to get down with that crew. You know what I mean? And did it with no problem, but I totally totally get that and
I mean,
anticipate.
you think about it, like even like even Nas, like people look at him as one of the GOAT. I mean, he was still rocking with MC Search and all them. You know what I mean? Like with those features that really build up that anticipation. Even Tupac was carrying Craze for Digital Underground
and dancing.
And then had it same song.
But then keeping in mind too that during this time, people are trying to get them a record deal. So Nas is on Main Source as a feature, but he doesn't have a deal. So it's kind of like, yo, jump on this MC Search, joint, and we still trying to get you a deal. So, in some situations, it was like, yo, we got to get this deal. What Red did was on EPMD's third album. I don't know if he was signed to Def Jam yet. So a lot of this was like, we found this MC. And again, at this time, these groups didn't have labels themselves to just sign themselves. You know what I mean? That kind of came with like the Nellies and all that when they started giving away deals, and that's when you could just sign your whole crew, to a deal. So it's like EPMD, Eric was probably still trying to get Russell to sign Red Band. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, we'll get you on these joints to get people hyped for you. But again, we don't have to do that anymore. Producer of the year. On the hip hop tip, I got Eric Sermon as producer of the year. He's got the EPMD Business Never Personal. He's got What the Album. And my runner-up would be Dre for The Chronic. You know what I mean? And then on the R&B side of things, I've got Dave Hall, and rest in peace, the Mark Morales, Prince Marky D, for the work they did on Mary's What's the 411. Everything on there from Real Love, just everything that them two dudes cooked up. Just a perfect album. So that's what I got for my producer of the year. Vern, what about you?
I'm going Dre on hip hop, and I'm gonna go Dallas Austin for the TLC work on the TLC tip.
You talk about somebody whose name who doesn't get mentioned that needs to get mentioned is Dallas Austin. And I feel like that's because he was a Suge Knight type producer, because he wasn't all up in the videos. You know what I mean? The average person doesn't know who Dallas Austin is. The average person doesn't know Dallas Austin did Boyz II Men's first album. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't the Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine Dupri is all up in the videos. You know what I mean? Something came on the other day, me and T was listening to Escape, My Little Secret. And I'm like, why the fuck is Jermaine Dupri in the intro of this? My Little Secret. It's like, nigga, why are you in this song? It's an R&B song. Nigga, you everywhere. Like,
there's so many reasons why we don't like that dude, man.
But it was just like, dog, we on an R&B slow jam, and here comes Jermaine Dupri. Like, he was gonna make you remember him, which is the hard part about it. This is why we remember him. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, if you don't do it, you become a Dallas Austin, somebody who had all these incredible songs that people are going to be like, oh shit, I didn't know Dallas did that. Oh shit, Dallas brought out Monica. I didn't know that. Oh, Dallas did that. So it's the gift and the curse. It's like, you either all up in the videos and everybody knows you, or you're not in the videos and you never get your respect. But Dallas Austin is definitely a huge pull. Rowdy Records, people don't talk about Rowdy enough, man. We're from Illegal on Rowdy. You know what I mean? It's funny, when I moved to Atlanta in 97, that was it for me. I was like, the face on that, I want to be Dallas Austin. I want Rowdy Records. You know what I mean? That's what I want to rock with. I fucked with their logo too, which was crazy. JR, what about you?
Well, I'm gonna say my number one is Brian Alexander Morgan, and it's because he changed.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
He changed the sound forever.
Can you talk about who he produced and what he produced?
Well, he produced SWV, and when he wasn't. I know everybody talks about the hip hop and R&B with Mary, but it was the way he was cutting up his. It was completely different. Like, he was cutting up his joint like a rapper for real. So like, if you listen to the breakdown and I'm So Into You, you can hear that was completely different from what they were doing with Mary. And it caused everybody, and I mean everybody, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Babyface, L.A. Reid, he made all of them be like, look, we got to change our style up, because if we don't, this dude about to leave us behind for real. So we wouldn't have got That's the Way Love Goes from Janet. We wouldn't have got that from her if Jimmy Jam wouldn't have heard It's About Time. So
now tell me this. I don't hear enough about his name. So you're saying all these big name people were influenced by this dude. why haven't I heard? The only reason why I even know this name is because we talked so much and done so many shows. If it wasn't for you, I'd have no idea who you're talking about. Why was he this influential? But what did he do after SW?
I mean,
why did he blow?
Really,
why did he blow?
Like he's produced so many other people.
Yeah.
But SWV is what got him that everybody know of him. He done Layla Hathaway. He's on. He's done.
He did Aretha, right? He did Aretha.
He did Aretha. Yes.
Yeah.
He's done. I mean, he did Rain.
But I guess what I'm saying is, like you said, doing SWV got everybody to know his name. My challenge would be, I don't know if everybody knows his name. Like maybe people in the industry know his name.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But what I mean is like, why don't the civilians know the name? The civilians know the Rich Harrisons. The civilians know the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis's. So if he was so great, why don't us regular folk down here know the name?
Another thing is too, Brian did not play the politic game either, and that's what he wasn't going to do. So they wanted him to do other stuff, and he like, nah, I'm not doing that. And then they kind of shut him out the industry, because by the time SWV was doing their second album, they didn't release no singles from him. It was all stars, so they kind of just
listen to JR and Lisa's show with him on there. I mean, bro, I was on there like,
yeah, like they really like the industry kind of like threw him, like, because he made so much money from It's About Time. You know, the labels after the second album, they like, all right, we want to get somebody cheaper. And like they literally like kind of just threw Brian to the side. And after that, you know, when the label want to put you down and the industry want to kind of throw you to the wolves, it's a wrap. So Brian was just like, it is what it is. And he just started, you know, producing for other people, but he wasn't getting that spotlight like he was. And that's why you really don't really know him like that. But he's very influential, to be honest.
He need to play at the Rock and get a nickname. That's the problem too. Brian Alexander Biller is just a boring name. Morgan. We need something. Morgan. See, I done fucked up his name. See, I need something quicker. Give me Brian All Day Miller. Give me a Rucker nickname. You know, the Sham Guy. Give me something fancy. Veg, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I think it's a little subjective, because if your success, even with the first album, gets you work for the rest of your life, you are successful. Right. It doesn't matter if you don't have fame. It's just that I think it became a situation, right, where almost like the coaches are now famous, right, where the players were the most famous. But we could watch the Spurs, but at this point,
it's no Pop.
We don't know who the hell else is on the team, on the floor.
That's right.
We know Pop. You know what I'm saying? But Pop don't want to be known. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with Dallas Austin, right? Like the people who need to know, that's what he was.
There it is.
They know, and he still get business. Yeah. But for him, I guess, you know, it doesn't matter if, you know, if the fans really know. I mean, most of us know, right? But as far as like,
I went front. I didn't know. Yeah. I don't think I ever read the production credits in the SW. To be honest with you, I don't even know if I owned the SWV album until like later on in life. You know, I loved it because everybody had Morgan. That's a 92. Every shorty at 92 was playing that album. So, I mean, I don't even know if I owned it to even look at the credits. And I think at that time, too, with me, I probably couldn't tell you who produced Mary's stuff, you know, if I didn't look in the credits. You know what I mean? Because I would probably just assume Puff did it. You know what I mean?
You gonna say, do you look at the credits now?
But here's the thing. Now that I own the CD, nothing in my head. Like, I look at credits when it comes out. So when I finally brought the CD, I probably read the name, but the name didn't stick. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying now because Brian is actually on Nas's King Disease.
Oh, well, I haven't brought a CD like in.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't. That's my main thing. That's my beef with buying things on iTunes, that I wish you could buy it and then you got the download of who produced what. Like, I feel like that's the problem. Like, it gets lost. But what did he do on King's Disease?
He did the joint with Charlie Wilson.
Oh, word? Oh,
that was his song. Yeah, that was his song, and he had to he wrote it, and Charlie Wilson came to his house and did it. Yeah, he talked about that.
35. Okay.
I would say Brian Alexander Morgan. You know how they say your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. I think Brian Alexander Morgan is your favorite producer's favorite producer. He's
right.
Everybody that needs to know who. I mean, hell, if Jam and Lewis are facing them, are acknowledging your dopeness. I don't care if Joe, the policeman from down the block, don't know who I am.
Did you just say Joe from That's My Mama? That nigga said That's My Mama. If Joe,
That's My Mama.
Joe the policeman.
That's My Mama. Knows. Okay. All right. Cool. Brian.
Remember the best part of that was you know him from. Because
right. You know him from. That's My Mama.
What's Going Down episode.
The What's Going Down episode.
Oh, God. All right, Bay, who you got for producer of the year, man?
You know, for years I didn't know that was a real fucking show. I thought they made that shit up as a joke.
Right. Oh, no, That's My Mama was my
that's
shit.
My mama. Isaac from Love Boat was on that.
I was crying when I saw the actual. I was like, "This is a show." Oh, shit. I was in tears. My brother was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Nigga, I'm not your age. I didn't know this shit was a show. I thought it was a joke." Like,
yeah, I thought it was made up too.
Right?
Is there a What's Going Down episode though?
That part,
I don't know the episodes. It might be. It really is. It might be. Because here's the thing: if you ain't young enough, and we tell you the bootleg episode of what's happening, niggas be like, "Is that a real episode?" Hell yeah, with the Doobie Brothers. That was a very that's when I learned what bootlegging was, man. On that episode, man. So it was a very real episode. Bay, producer of the year.
Producer of the year, I have Dr. Dre. I just feel like his combination of West Coast style with East Coast style, and I mean like East Coast boom bap style. You know what I'm saying? Because we talk about the NWA stuff and him kind of emulating the Bomb Squad, but this was like Dre taking that West Coast, ride in your car sound and then mixing in some boom bap like shit. Like when I heard Stranded on Death Row, I was like, Dre made this?
Yeah.
Like I was bitches ain't shit. I was like, Dre made these? It just took me to another level with him as a producer, like, oh yeah, he's not to be fucked with. Like not at all.
Let's Ride to this day is still my favorite song.
Yeah.
Man,
like, oh God, just perfection. Who's your runner-up?
Running up for, you know what? I'm gonna go with Eric Sermon because I think that was a really dope pick that I didn't really think about. Eric Sermon was like probably my favorite producer because I wasn't even. Well, I mean, we gonna get into it, but I wasn't even rapping around this time. But I used to be like, yo, if I ever rap, I want that nigga beats because I'm big on funk, right? Just even the original stuff, right? Parliament and all of that. But I just love the way Eric Sermon did what Dr. Dre did, right? The West Coast is mostly known for sampling that. He gave it an East Coast appeal with the boom bap, so with all the EPMD stuff. So Eric Sermon is very close run up for me.
Yeah. The only reason why Eric kind of got the pull was just because with Business Ever Personal and What, that was kind of like them two albums together to me was just, my thing. And it's funny you brought that up about Dre because even when I talk about the Far Side, I know at least for me, the thing that caught me with NWA, because at first I seen the album cover and I'm like, these niggas got Jerry curls. What the fuck? I ain't listening to that shit. You know what I mean? But then when I heard Straight Outta Compton, it's so East Coastish. So when I was talking about, the Far Side and the Alcoholics, the beats were so East Coasters. They were so Bomb Squad, which it was ingenious for Q to say, well, fuck you, Dre. I'm going to go to the originators then. I'm going to just go to the Bomb Squad. I'm going to just go to who you got your sound from. Because that's what pulled me into Straight Outta Compton was the beats. It was like, yo, these beats are crazy. You know what I mean? Because they were so Bomb Squadish, So that's a dope pull. Rel, producer of the year for you.
I'm going to go with Dr. Dre as well. And my runner-up is Eric Sermon. Like Eric Sermon was probably like I'm like vague. He was one of my favorites. You know what I mean? at the time I was into like bass, like I wanted to hit, you know, and some of the bass on his beats was crazy, man. Even going forward, like stuff like like the beat for Hostile, that shit like crazy, you know what I'm saying? So, but Dre, you know, the impact of that album, and you know, that's like his magnum opus. So, you know, Dre is number one, but I gotta give a shout out to Eric Sermon, man. Like, you know,
did you ever hear Eric was saying that he was supposed to be on Illmatic, but he was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Really?
Because he was just saying at the time, he was like, "Yo, you know, it's some new nigga Nas. Like, I'm doing Keith Murray. I'm doing. I don't know. Keith wasn't out at the time, but it was like I'm doing stuff for, you know, bigger name people. Like, nah, I don't got no time for, you know, that right there. You know, but
damn,
that's crazy.
That shit would have been crazy. I ain't know that. Yeah. That's crazy.
He had a couple moments like that in hip hop history where he missed.
Word?
The Woo.
Oh, the Woo wanna be?
I think he even said M at one point.
That whole thing on the Woo thing real? Like when Ray was supposed to be in the studio with Eric?
He Eric Sermon told the story on either, I don't know if it was Drink Champs or what's the dude? Damn, I can't remember the dude's name.
Taxstone?
Nah, it's another dude who's kind of known. He does a podcast. Damn, I can't remember. I'll figure it out. But he was on his podcast and he told that story, and then he kind of went down a rabbit hole of people he almost had. I think he said M at one point, and I was like, well, what the fuck was Eric Sermon doing? Like,
hey, Kill, he sound like
nigga, Nas. Oh, you don't want him? Eminem. Oh, you don't want him, nigga? Like,
right. What'd you say, Vern?
He sound like Prodigy. I almost did that. I could have did that.
Yo, here's the funny thing, bro, and I think maybe it was. I think he said this kind of with the Nas thing, and sometimes maybe you just get a big head and you like, I'm only fucking with this pedigree of people. You know, like I'm not fucking with nobody new. You know, it's funny. I always said that about Swiss. Swiss to me was always the type of producer that if you was a dope MC already who was like known, he could give you a hit. But Swiss isn't really good at breaking new artists. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like Cassie, I feel like he could have done a better job. Like if Cassie got that Bring 'Em Out beat that he gave T.I., it wouldn't have been what it was for T.I. Like if you are already a known artist and you work with Swiss at a certain time period, he was going to give you a banger. I just don't think Swiss has the whatever you need to bring out a new artist. You know what I mean? So maybe Eric was just like, nigga, I'm Eric Sermon. I'm not fucking with these broke niggas. You know what I mean? If it ain't six figures, if it ain't six figures at the end of my check, nigga, what did Poopa say? If the show ain't for dough, then you won't see the bro. So I'm sure, you know, Searchlight Music didn't have a big check to be on Illmatic. And, you know, maybe M out of Jersey, yo, we got a white boy. A white boy? Get the fuck out of here, man. Yo, Red, let's go start working on There's a Dark Side too. Like,
I mean, he already had classics out.
Yeah, you know, so
niggas ain't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, it's a certain mentality. There's a certain mentality for somebody who's like, word, let me hear him. Like, let me hear if he hungry. Like, yo, I fuck with him. And somebody else's mentality is like, yo, I'm over that. Like, I'm not wearing no fucking polo jeans. What the fuck is that? I only wear low. Fuck is you talking about? You know? So somebody tried to give me some polo jeans once. I was like, thank you, but no thank you. I don't just polo. I apologize. Yes, polo jeans is a part of Ralph, but I just don't wear it. You know, and I may gave up a nice hoodie or a nice coat, but my bougie ass was like, nigga, it's all low. I don't do that. Sorry. You know, somebody else like, yeah, hell yeah, give me that polo jeans shit. Like, so again,
the podcast. I didn't. I was trying to remember Doggy Diamond's podcast.
Okay, dope.
He
dope.
did some DVDs back, Forbes DVDs and all that.
Right. I remember that name. All right, and Eddie, last up, producer of the year. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going with Dre. I mean, I think like if you produce the album of the year, like that changes the rules. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that was a game-changing album and the album of the year. So gotta go to Dre. And then I agree with y'all. I mean, Eric Sermon, just being able to produce for his group and then, you know, produce a debut album for a new artist and have it blow up, you know, that way. And I mean, in reality, I mean, It didn't. It had the EPMD sound, but it also had it. He kind of catered it to Redman too, right? It had certain elements of the EPMD sound, but he also catered it to Redman, so it kind of made it dope and unique as well.
Yeah, crazy. All right, we gonna talk some of the things I found in '92. Let me know if y'all agree or disagree or have some other stuff. One of the first things I said in '92 is we're seeing the beginning of DITC. We got Diamond's first album. We got Showbiz and AG's first album. We got the Lord Finesse album Vague was talking about. So I'm seeing the beginning of DITC. Vague, I was saying, I think with Finesse in the production is him being in DITC. He was like, it's almost like being in the Woo. Like you were going to be like the last producer because you got Diamond, you got Show, you got Buck Wild. You know what I mean? So I think maybe that's one of the reasons why Lord Finesse doesn't get as much props as a producer. Because when we think DITC producers, we don't even think of him. I talked about the beginning of the two dope producers with Preem and Pete. Two, we kind of started seeing this, and we talked about this on the 91 show. Public Enemy and that pro-black is fading out. You know, by this time, all we had was Public Enemy's Greatest Misses. Paris, out of Oakland, had his second album that kind of fell on deaf ears. I think that's one of the reasons why maybe nobody really talks about that X-Clan album as much, because that real hardcore pro-black, like fight the power, is done by now. And we're bringing more into what Vern talked about. We're getting more into the peace people, what I like to call the Howard University 92 crew of peace people, of Arrested Development and Locks and shit like that. So I think that, and when it started in 91, because we were seeing more 5%ers, that was brand new bands. We were seeing KMD. So that pro-black is getting played out. That's coming in. We're still getting a little bit of kid hip-hop with Criss Cross and Shion Lee. And then I think one of the biggest things I saw from 92 is just the amount of how many dope albums we have. We've done a lot of these shows going back to 88. And outside of 88, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, I don't know if there's ever been a show where we had 10 albums that all could have been in the top 5 in the same year so far, outside of 88.
I think one of the other shows we did,
maybe 89.
Had a gang of them too.
Oh yeah, 89 was dope too. Yeah. Okay, because I was just listing my albums. I was like, damn, I'm up to 9 already. Like I said, Mecca and the Soul Brother didn't make this. Oh, I want to give a shout out to Porsche because I'm positive she would have said Pete Rock would have got produced.
I already know that.
Absolutely off of Troy. Just off of Troy.
Yeah.
She'd be like, fuck the Chronic. One song, Troy. They reminisce over you. Keep it going.
I would say if Blue Funk, because I was seeing like it was January 1993 instead of like 1992. If Blue Funk was like in the middle of 92 instead of like the start of 93, I probably could have gave it to Pete, because he did a lot of that.
Right.
But that's more 93.
Right. Was there any other tides in hip hop, or what was the vibe of hip hop before we go to our own personal stories?
Yeah.
Like, do y'all have any more like anything that y'all kind of pulled away from hip hop during this time in 92?
Yeah, I would say,
and R&B, JR, R&B too, please.
Yeah, man. I would say it was like the true merge of hip hop and R&B, right? Because we had that SWV album that had that. We had the TLC. They were really doing it. The Marry, well, that's the major. What's the 411, right? So we had a lot of those albums that start to kind of blend, and even more R&B features on the hip hop albums and stuff like that. But more on the R&B side, blending, the hip hop influence in there.
Great point.
I would say that really, to me, that is the major shift in the influence of hip hop on everything else. I don't care what nobody say. I'm a down this here. Niggas was not smoking weed like that until the Chronic came out.
Good point. Yeah, both of them at the same time. Like Chronic was the West Coast and Redman was the East Coast. Because that's all I could tell you at 92. That's all niggas did was smoke.
Blunts and 40s.
Blunts and 40s. That was it right there.
And then just ask Tangeray how they sales went.
After gin and juice.
And tell me how that wasn't influential.
Nah, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Anything else, Vay? JR, before we go to our personal, how what 92 meant to us?
No, I just agree with y'all with the connecting R&B and hip hop. That's what really did it. Honestly, this was the year that really did it, and we still dealing with it to this day because of this. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a gift and a curse. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me explain something to you. I've learned in 48 years of living, there's a gift and curse with everything.
That's true.
Everything in life, there's a gift and a curse. You get a new job, get more money, more responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, it's a gift and curse with everything.
I do have one thing.
Oh, what's up, Vic?
I think when you look at the albums, especially like East Coast and West Coast, and the individuals that we named, this probably was the end of a lot of the guys who ruled in the 80s, especially the late 80s. Right? Eric B. and Rakim, even though I feel the album was slept on, it was slept on for a reason. When you look at the emergence of Gangstar, Pete Rock, Seal Smooth, Dr. Dre, and that whole crew, it's just like all of these other next people for the 90s emerged in different ways. Redman, right? Eric Sermon was able to kind of stay in that conversation because of his productions and his ties. So we know what happened to EPMD, right? That was it for them. But Eric Sermon was able to take that and go over here and do these other cast effects, right? And like you said, even on the R&B tip, right? You're seeing SWV and what Mary's doing, and it just feels like that's the thing. Fuck what EP and D said about crossover. This shit sound good. Rap on it. Like,
Right.
So yeah, I kind of looked at it like that. Like, damn, what's different? But that's what's different, right? Though all the cats from the late 80s was ruling. And Ice Cube was hanging in there, but give him another album or so.
Right. And again, that's why I love doing these shows, because even when we did the 91 show, every year you can kind of see, like, I think it was for 88 and 89, Kane was my MC of the year. And then by 90, he wasn't. And it was like, all right, well, here's where the downfall starts. It's the same thing with Marley. It's like Marley was my producer of the year for like 88 and 89, but here comes 90 and 91. It's like, okay, now we're not seeing Marley Marl's name nowhere. We're not seeing Big Daddy Kane's name nowhere. We're seeing the people who are surviving, the G-Raps, like you just said, the Eric Sermons, but surviving in a different way, and then surviving on the solo tip. You know what I mean? Because 92 was the year, if I'm not mistaken, it's either 92 or 93 when Who's the Man came out with Hit Switches. So Eric had his solo albums, which took us all the way into the 2000s when he was Eric Onassis with music. You know what I mean? Like, so, it's kind of like how you said, it's funny to see who survived and who didn't. It's almost like an episode of Survivor. Like, some of these niggas ain't making it off the island. You know what I mean? Because it just wasn't happening like that. Yeah. What were you going to say, Ron?
The longevity of some of these people that we mentioned in 92 is kind of impressive. Now that you, like, put it like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, Eric Sermon's longevity is kind of crazy when you think about it. Like,
he started in 87.
Yeah.
and that music dropped in like 2002.
Yeah. And just think of the people that we named. Redman had a very long career of being relevant and putting out, you know what I'm saying? Of course, Dre, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got the Chronic. We got the second Chronic, and it was, 2001?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing is, like, the longevity of these artists that we name. And also, hip-hop always been influential for us, but to, the masses. I think it's starting to get crazy now in 92. Like, the influence it has on just everybody, people that, not from the hood, people that's of different cultures and ethnicities. Like, it's getting crazy now in 90. Like, the influence is you know what I'm saying, is heightened. It's always been there, but I think it's going to another level around this time in '92.
It's funny you talk about the influential. I'm gonna get to you, Ed. I remember there was an interview with Das, and it may have been on MTV at the time. Not even MTV Raps, but MTV. And they was like, you know, what's the science behind the Band-Aid you had under your eye in the Day One Effects video? He was like, I cut my eye. You know what I mean? But like now people will already start rocking Band-Aids like under their eye, like, oh, that's the new fad. Okay, Band-Aids under the eye. Like, nah, nigga, I just fucked up my eye. You know, or like even when they were saying way back with Salt and Pepper, they was like, Pepper, why'd you get your hair cut like that? Like on one side, she was like, I fucked up the other side and had to get it cut like this, you know. So it's just, you know, how, you know, like you said, just not just on us, but this is the years that it's like it's influencing white folk and other people like that and everything like that. What were you gonna say, Eddie?
I was gonna say, like, so if you look at like what happened then in like 93, I feel like 93, you know, then you had the Wu, then you have boot camp click, right? Things like, especially on the East Coast, start changing, start getting darker. And I feel like 92, hip hop was still fun, you know? Like you had different, you know, different pockets and stuff, but you know, it was still fun. Like, you know, a lot of that DITC stuff like was, you know, there was still a lot of up tempo stuff, right? And you know, even like you talk about House of Pain, Jump Around and all that shit, right? The Daz Effect stuff, you know, even the stuff that was popular, right? It was fun without being overly corny or overly pop, like not like what would come like after Puffy, like in the late 90s and shit like that. You know,
you know what, Eddie? That's a great point because I'm looking through all these albums. I don't think anybody got killed in 1992.
Hey,
I don't think one person got killed on wax in 1992. It's a great point, Ed. Now we got to pay attention.
The Chronic.
Who got killed on the Chronic, though? They ain't kill Easy, did they?
Easy. Tim
Oh, they killed Easy?
And Tim Dog, yeah.
Yeah, they was going crazy.
They were going that down. Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, like getting shot. Like I'm thinking, like Prodigy and Mobb Deep. Like you know, like 100 niggas got killed in Queensbridge.
Oh, you mean literally?
Yeah, like I'm like literally on wax, on wax. Like where we like, yo, I'm pulling out the gat. I got to sit. You know, I'm blowing your, I'm shooting you in your fucking head type shit like that. Like,
hey yo,
on Dre Day, they said put the chrome to the side of his White Sox hat.
Yeah, okay. All right. So maybe this is the beginning. They put the chrome there. I don't know if they pulled it though. You know what I mean?
Well, he was in the Let Me Ride video, so he lived. So.
Yeah. I was gonna say somebody had said this the other. Who was it? Who was saying this? I can't remember, but they were just saying how it's so fucked up now because back in the day, if I robbed you and you gave me what I wanted, you got to live. Now niggas just kill you even when you give up your shit. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, okay, maybe the Chronic is the beginning of I'm gonna put the chrome to your dome, but I ain't gonna squeeze the trigger. Maybe in the years to come, we're gonna see somewhere along the line. I'm not only gonna put it to the dome. I'm gonna blow your fucking head off too. You know what I mean? So, but the Chronic may be the beginning. This may be the beginning of because. Eddie, a good point. I'm like, that serious. Nobody died. Daily Operation, Mecca. Everybody's alive at the end of the album. You know, okay. Fabulous Chi Ali. Nobody got stuck up. You know, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But
it was still some fun. It was still some fun hip hop. I remember I don't know if y'all remember this video. I used to like this video back then. It was Toss It Up. What was it?
Was by Ziggy? It. Yeah, Ziggy is the beginning of my low life addiction, man.
The polo shit on. Yeah.
So, that's the Raking in the Dope remix. That was, you talk about people were still dancing. Ziggy was dancing.
Yeah.
That's Ziggy true. Was dancing. That Raking in the Dope remix, bro. That's all fucking freshman year Morgan for me. That's where I fell in love with Low. But so great point, Eddie. Great point. That we didn't get to the dark times yet. You know what I mean? So. That's a great point. All right, on a personal note, like I said, 92 is my freshman year at Morgan. It's graduating high school. I think for most people, I would assume that's a great time when you graduate high school, that summer before you do whatever you want to do. If you're joining the military, whatever's coming next, I just think that's an exciting time. So for me, graduating high school, not having a job that whole summer, I'm just chilling with my crew and with my girl and then going to Morgan. And like I said, just all these albums, Stunts, Blunts, and hip hop. Every car pulling up on campus banging What and daily operation and Mecca and business, never personal, and just an incredible year for me. I mean, definitely. Anytime I think of the year 1992, it's just gonna always remind me of Morgan State University. So that's what it is. Vern, what about you, man? 92, you're in Atlanta. You're what, a sophomore or junior in college now?
I didn't start to 91, so I'm a first year sophomore. Yeah. Sophomore.
Okay.
So, the emergence of TLC brings on the emergence even more of the Atlanta music scene. And I mean, I can remember going to the Warehouse and Jack the Rapper conferences in town.
Now, what's the Warehouse for folk?
It was a club. That's where I saw the little niggas, Jamal and them. Look at me, y'all 8 years old. How y'all in the same club I'm in? But I remember seeing Fife and them. And it's funny because around that time, Little John used to DJ at the Warehouse. He used to have some dope like dance hall nights and hip hop nights in Cersei. I remember they doing for Jack the Rapper. Little John had a Suzuki Samurai, and they had a keg on the back, and they were selling beer off the keg. And now Little John is the king of crunk, you know what I mean? But I remember him being a DJ and all that kind of stuff. So it was just a fun time, man.
Was he a dope DJ?
Yeah. I mean, he was like I said, he did a lot of dance hall, reggae, that kind of thing. I mean, he had dope hip hop too, but that's what I know him more for is the dance hall stuff. Yeah, but just a fun time in Atlanta, man. And it's like that was I would say Atlanta stopped being Atlanta like when the Olympics came.
And that was 96, right? 96,
yeah. Because before then, it's like everybody was just real people, wasn't trying to be red carpet, celebrity type stuff, man. It was just cool vibe, man. And you could go anywhere and hang out with different people, whatever. So that's what I remember more about 92.
All right, Vague, what about you?
In 92, I was 15, and like a lot of these albums were, and I probably should get up and go get them, but I have the actual cassettes I bought back then. Like literally right there, a lot of these albums, right, we talked about, all of them, The Chronic, my original tapes, because around that time I had, I was getting money and I could not, I don't know drug shit, so you niggas calm down. Right? I'm a student. But, my mother was giving me allowance, and, I would go to the record store, Beach Street, all the time. I've mentioned that a million times, and I always wanted to buy something new, right? Stumbled across The Chronic by accident, to be honest. Because, for one, at the time, I didn't know Dr. Dre had an album out. And two, I didn't go to Beach Street for it. I saw it in this, like, mom and pop spot that had a lot of, old soul and R&B and shit. And, the hip-hop section was, like, this small. And I was like, is this some bootleg shit? When I saw the cover, I was like, this is Dr. Dre. Like, where the fuck is the rest of the NWA? But when I looked at the back and I saw Snoop, I was like, nah, it's got the dude from Deep Cover on it. And I still have those things, right? A lot of those albums. But I just feel like at that time, being 15, being able to buy my own music, put it in my Walkman, read the credits as I drive, as I'm on the bus, 52 bus, B52, back to Gates Avenue. I just absorbed music in a different way because I was coming of age at that time. And also, remember, I've said this on your podcast before, in May of 1992, Lil Will was killed. And even though I was always into hip-hop, right, deeply always into hip-hop, I think the music hit me differently. Like that X-Clan album, I think I mentioned on one of your episodes before, because that came out right around the time he passed. So I kind of sunk into my music, right, as a way to deal with it. Because, when you're young, I mean, sure, people getting shot, killed in the hood, but, this was somebody I was truly close to, almost like a brother. And I had a brother. But, like, I really got into the music heavy. And so a lot of these albums, like I was paying attention to every word, hanging on every word, every beat, who produced what. And it was almost therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? So in a lot of ways, and shit, maybe that's why I still have them, you know, subconsciously, not even getting rid of them, because it kind of helped me at that time to kind of cope with what happened. But coming out on the other end of that, it's not like when I listen to these albums, I even think about that. I just appreciate the music at that time. And I've said this a million times on your podcast or my podcast. I was tired of the friendship. So when the Chronic came out, I was like, yeah, kill all them niggas. Do all that shit.
That nigga was like, I'm tired. Don't tell me to jump around no goddamn more, man. I'm tired of all this goddamn party music.
Right, I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I had House of Pain, all that shit, but something about the Chronic, and then obviously with the Nas's and the Black Moons, was like, yeah, this is what we're seeing every day. You know, that's fun. Have a record for that, but this is the life we know. So it was great, and really, really quick. Just like a Dodge story. When he did Back to the Gorilla Gang video, like even before that, right, with halftime and all that. After my cousin passed, you know, my aunt would always tell me, "Hey, come over for the weekend." And I see it bringing his new video, and I would be like, "Another one? Like this nigga don't have an album?" Like, you know what I'm saying? But we would come over, she would cook, and, you know, probably watch the video a million times. I remember watching that video because I hadn't seen it until he brought the tape over. And, you know, it's 92. So he coming with the huge box and for the VCR, and you're like, damn, there's one video on that motherfucker.
right.
It's huge. But even that, for him, for my aunt, for his friends, it was therapeutic, right? Because it was like, you know, we know why we're here, because we're mourning the loss of, you know, Will. But at the same time, we're celebrating Nasir. So it was a really influential time for me to like really be into hip hop like that. So hearing all these albums is like, man, I'm gonna go listen to that,
Right. That's
and Mary J. Blige, that was church for me. I was like, this album is crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's dope.
Man.
That's dope. Bro, what about you, man? Now you're 10, so you know.
So this was the first, like I bought my first music with money that I was given in 92. I remember what it was. It was actually I bought something else, but I wanted crossover single. Remember they used to sell singles in the record store? And I was in Cheltenham Mall and it was one left. I told this story before, and that was my favorite song at the time. So one of the old heads named Shay, he actually bought that for me. I bought something else and then he bought that for me. There was only one left. And he told me if I could rap the first verse, he'd buy it for me. And you know what I'm saying, he bought it. But during that time, it was like, yo, I would, you know, go and hang with my older cousins and go to the arcade, you know, the arcade that we had in Cheltenham Mall.
All too well, brother. All too well.
Yeah, that was the start of me really being, because like at that age, like you're real, what's the word? You can be influenced really easily.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely. You're very
yeah. So that, you know, it's starting to get, you know, I'm starting to get crazy with the music stuff now. Like it's like starting to become my life, you know what I'm saying, what I'm into, like, you know what I mean, during that time. So that's really what I remember in 92. I just remember, like, I don't know, man, it just was I think I said this on one of the early, like the 89 or the 90, like it's like, I don't know, stuff was just different, man. It was just so like, it was like refreshing a little bit, you know what I mean? Like it was a lot different than stuff is now, you know what I'm saying? And like the music getting put out, like it was just so much dope stuff, you know what I mean? And some stuff be so dope and then it don't even really get talked about, but it be dope, you know what I'm saying? Like you had to put out good shit back then, you know what I'm saying? or you would definitely be forgotten. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I remember about the times. You know, like 92.
All right, Gerald, what about you, man?
This is the year that I really got into music for myself, because hearing both sides, you got my dad was hip hop, my mom was R&B for real. So it was like, all right, I'm listening to what she's right. She's playing Funky Divas. My dad is playing Mecca and the Soul Brother. She's playing this. And so once Mary came into the mix, I just remember my mom coming home and was like, it's this girl from Yonkers, and she got this song called Reminisce. And we was like, okay. It was like, all right, whatever. And she was like, no. This is something different. Like, you feel it. It's a different. And she's on campus as well. So everybody is like talking about this new girl. And I just remember her bringing Reminisce home. And I was just like, I'm sitting there in the couch, and even I'm looking at my dad, and he's not even a R&B head. And he was like, yo, why is this joint knocking like this? Like, and it's an R&B record. And he like, this soft, he's normally like R&B, this soft ass shit. Like, I don't want to hear this, but hear this. And it's like, yo, this is dope. And then once the 4-1 comes out, and then it's played in my house all the time. And it's like, I could see my dad want to play it, my mom want to play it, and it's making me pay attention to things. And I'm starting to ask, like, well, who is this? And my mom's telling me the samples, and that's where everything started to work for me. Like, oh, okay, this is who this is, and she's putting this. And then once Chronic came out, and I was just like, what is this? It sounds like some space shit, like, for real. And my mother was like, that's that Parliament shit, and she wasn't even down with it. And I'm like, well, damn, I need to, like, we ain't got a greatest hits or some shit. And my father like, well, don't ask me. So you know what I'm saying? So my mom ended up getting it. And after that, it was like, yo, I got to look at what the hell liner notes is. Like, I got to know who this is and who played this and who's this. And then once 93 came, and then Tony came out, it was just a wrap. Like, I was like, but 92 is the year that I started learning really music for myself and started seeing what I like and what I didn't. Before, it was just like, all right, mom and dad is playing this, whatever. But this is the year I started to say, I like that. No, I don't like that. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, I like that. And just started asking questions and learning that hip hop and R&B is a big part of my life. So that's why 1992 is always my favorite year of music.
Now, question, you said Tony came out next year. They were already out, right?
They were. But once we got Sons of Soul, that's when I really got into liner notes after that. Like that, and did that episode with Vern. And I did that, and I started looking who's playing bass, who's playing guitar, who's playing this, who's playing that. But I started with that with my mom in 92, because she would say, well, look at what the CD say, and look at this, and look at that. So once 93 came on, I was on my own then. I'm like, Ma, I don't need you no more. So that's the next.
All right. And what about you, Eddie?
Yeah, for me, I was saying, like, I was 12. I feel what Bro was saying. I think that was the year I bought, probably first, I got some money. I think I remember I bought the Scenario single that had the remix as the B-side, right? So the Scenario remix, I remember falling in love with that shit, you know? And then I bought Murder, She Wrote, the Shaka Demons and the Fires joint. And then, I remember I bought that, the single. And then I remember going to a carnival or something, and just like playing one of them carnival games, and I won a prize. And I remember they had the TLC, you won the TLC tip cassette, and that was an option for winning a prize. So I snatched that shit up. I was like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what got me into that. But for the most part, I remember just going buying a bunch of blank tapes. And I did a lot of pause tapes off the radio, because there was like so much dope shit. And that was really like the first time I really felt like I wanted to record everything I heard on the radio, you know?
Yeah. That's dope. Something we don't talk about enough, tapes, man. Buying blank tapes, man.
Hey, kid.
I got both of y'all, Vern and Hey.
Okay. Oh man, just Jay, I was talking about Mary. Man, what a time to be in college and partying, bro. That 411, man. I mean, because again, like chicks wasn't really feeling hip hop like that, but Mary was the best of both worlds, bro. And I just want to pay homage to one song that people don't talk about on the album. That Changes, man. Come on, man.
Ooh, listen. Listen. What?
Oh, bro. I mean, bro, ooh, what a time to be alive. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I'm sorry, Meg. You was next. My fault. Go ahead.
So since we were talking about cassettes, I figured I'll show some of these cassettes that I bought back in '92. I don't have all of them because I was like, it's too much shit, man. But there's the Chronic that I bought from '92. And it's it's the shit we talked about, right? Showbiz, all right? Fushnikins.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know when's the last time I heard that shit. Eric Sermon.
Yeah, that was my shit right there, man.
EPMD.
Yep.
Redman.
There we go.
I'm surprised this shit ain't popped because I swear out of it. K-Solo.
K-Solo joint. Bang, what was the name of that single on the K-Solo joint?
Was it I Can't Hold It Back?
Yep, I Can't Hold It Back. Yep, that lies, the rumors, the lies. That shit was hard, man.
Yeah, that was the shit, man. All right, let me be quick. All right, Lord Finesse. Right,
Yeah.
and obviously Porsche. There you go. Exodus.
Yeah, I still got that joint.
Right. I know we kind of mentioned this. Move on.
Yeah.
Slept on joint, man. Like,
Oh my goodness, bro. That's
man.
a masterpiece, man.
right.
And
All right.
the way that shit starts off with Truthful. Oh my
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
God.
Shiali.
God damn, Vegas had everything. Shit.
Right.
Dada.
That's a fact.
Had to have that.
Look, you think you said I had everything because I didn't even show Daily Operation. Ziggy.
Ziggy, there you go, bro.
There we go.
There it is,
I
right
kept
there.
this just because I was like, I don't know where these niggas went, so I better just keep the like they morphed into the Lost Boys and shit. Like, oh, that's what.
This nigga just said some Harlem Brooklyn niggas turned to Queens niggas, man. It's crazy. So for everybody watching, 92, an incredible year of hip hop. You got the joints to go back, do your research on, check it out. Veg, where can they get at you, good brother?
All right, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Vegas World INC. You can check out my podcast hosted by myself and Yentz. It's called Hip Hop Twitter. It's about crazy hip hop tweets that I don't see, but somehow this nigga does and feels like I need to know why people say shit. So you get my honest reaction right then and there. He didn't want to tell me beforehand, but I say, yo, don't tell me shit until we hit record. You get my honest reaction.
And Porsche was on the episode, right?
Yeah, Porsche was on the episode. So was Tone. When Tone was on there, it kind of turned into some Malcolm X shit. I was like, all right, man, we like this. Like that. This shit getting too grown for me. Like, come on, man.
This shit's supposed to be lighthearted, nigga.
Right. I was into it too. I started to be like, yeah, because Malik, I should have. I was doing the same shit. Then I listened, I was producing it. I was like, you know what, we getting way too serious on here. Like, come on.
What you Rob, where can they get at you, man?
Oh man, Uptown World 215 on the gram, JBen215 on Twitter. Yeah.
All right, Eddie, what's up?
Eddie D80 on Twitter, Freestyles on Instagram.
JR?
R&B Representatives on Instagram, R&B Reps on Twitter, JR World of Soul on Instagram, JR World of Soul on Twitter.
Vern, where can they get with you to buy a house, good brother?
at Visa Loan Closer on Instagram, BChandler10 on Twitter.
You already know this with me, Kill889, Twitter, IG. Again, me and Vern. What up, Verns? I Don't Mind is out. Vague is our only guest feature on that joint, so check that out. Quick question before we go. Nas just has said he's coming out with King's Disease 3. What are we anticipating from that? Vague, let's start with you.
I'm trying not to anticipate anything because what we got was so good that I don't want to set myself up for expectation and be like, nah, they dropped the ball or whatever. Because I may miss the point, right? I'm pretty sure they approached it like we did this, and this. How we're gonna approach this one, but I just got a sneaky feeling it's gonna be even crazier, especially on feet.
All right, I'm definitely looking forward to this joint. I think I put on the timeline, you know, if he had recorded this during the time of rehearsals for this Wu-Tang concert, and if he recorded any of it during the show, I just feel like, I believe we got some of the dopest hip hop in the 90s because these people were around each other all the time. They were going on tour with each other. They were in the studios with each other. Iron sharpens iron. So it's kind of like, you knew in 93 you couldn't come in no site for whack. So you knew you had to be on point. So, you know, I'm thinking if, you know, him being around Wu or him even anticipating being on this tour, you know, would have, you know, even taken his pen game to another level. So I'm with you, Vague. I'm trying not to, but I won't hold you. If King's Disease 1 and 2 and Magic, I gotta expect, you know, the triple bye-bye birdie on this. If y'all ever watch My Wife and Kids with Cat Williams episode, which is watch the Cat Williams episode, the bye-bye birdie, the triple bye-bye birdie was real. So yeah, I won't hold y'all. I'm expecting him to creep into my top 3 album of the year. My 3 albums for my album of the year right now are like damn near locked in stone right now, and I'm anticipating Nas to knock one of my 3 out the box. So
what's the 3?
I want to bring it up until the end of the year show. I don't even want to bring it up until the end of the year show. So, but yeah, I can tell you. Well, I don't even want to go. Yo, I can't stop listening to this motherfucking Freddie Gibbs album. I can't. Like, I've tried. I can't. Like, literally. Like, that shit is in my brain, and it just takes me back to that week that I was in New York. Like, there's no way I can listen to that album and not think about, you know, New York. That Freddie Gibbs, I've always been like, yo, I like dude. You know, I like Freddie, but I've never been a fan. You know what I mean? And for people watching, when I say that, just because I'm not a fan doesn't mean I don't fuck with that person. But when I think of I'm a fan, oh, Freddie's in town, I'm going to that show. That's how I define as a fan. And in the past, it'd be like, oh, Freddie's in town, all right, cool, whatever. Now, after this, Fred, yeah, I'm in. And people may say, well, what about Alfredo and Bandana? I like them albums. I love Bandana. I think it's a 5-mic album. But again, I just wasn't. But after this joint, yo, I can't. I literally can't stop listening to this album. So I can tell you, Gibbs is definitely making my top 3 of this year. Vern, what about you? I know you love Magic. So what do you anticipate?
I don't put anticipation or expectation. I'll tell you what I'm anticipating. Nas is doing something tell me if I'm wrong, but no other MC has done in the history of hip hop to me. I mean, he was already on arguably everybody's top 5 list. He's gotten better. But not in a way, not like it's not like he's trying to top Illmatic. Nas is just matured into a level like he's in a groove like a musician, like a Coltrane, and he's like, he just in his bag. And I love it because that's how we should do. I mean, like we talk about it a lot in hip hop, and it's proven to be true in most cases. In every other profession, the more experience you have, the better you are, or you should be. You know, if you came out as a doctor in 1979, you didn't have all the tools that you got now, but you got the experience and the tools, so you should be better. And Nas is. and he sounds refreshed. So I'm expecting more of the same.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't think it's been done, and I think Nas has been one of the few people who has found his Premier or his Pete Rock in Hit Boy. You know what I mean? I don't think he had that years in the past. So it's kind of just like, you know, for some people with Nas, it's the gift and the curse. Your debut album is what people say is not only your dopest album, but one of the dopest hip hop albums ever. Other people kind of get to that point. You know what I mean? Maybe like me and Veg just said, Daily Operation is our favorite Gangstar album. Not that the other two were whack, but they kind of grew to their point where Nas just jumped off in it. And I just think it's a beautiful thing that he found that it's almost like somebody who gets married later on in life. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you get married at 49 and you get married at 50. Like, yo, it took you this long to find the one. Hey, it's a beautiful thing, brother. I'm glad you found it. You know, and I don't think too many MCs get the time to find the right one at this age. And they're still nice enough. And I think we talked about this on the episode. Also, Nas has so many investments he's paid. So there's no pressure on Nas. Like, it ain't like, oh, I got to do an album to make this money, or how I'm going to pay this child support. Oh, Destiny needs this. Yeah. I'm good. Money ain't a problem. Label ain't no problem. Nothing's no... Like, this nigga has no pressure whatsoever. This nigga is chilling. And there's no better way to play a game when you ain't got nothing to lose. Like, I'm just good.
Yeah, when you ain't pressing, that you miss shots when you pressing. It's something to your point today. I saw on Twitter today, people were talking about how this album was gonna be dope, and somebody said, "Yeah, man, I think this is the last album I want to hear him and Hit Boy." Like, why? I mean, what? It ain't broke.
Well, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. I still have people on Twitter telling me that they still want a Large Professor Nas album, and I'm like, nigga, that shit done. What Pusha say? You trying to find a better price, nigga? That ship sailed, nigga. That's the last person I want to fucking hear.
No.
I think Hit Boy put all of that, Primo and Nas, all of that shit is to bed because he gives him such a variety.
Yeah,
that's why you want to keep hearing it, because it's not the same recipe every time. Like Magic was like, oh shit, they just gave us old Nas, like, but it's new. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Bro,
like,
I'm telling you, I agree, but there's still people like, I'm waiting on that Premier album. I'm like, here's the thing, y'all. Premier put out that EP, and with that song with Nas, I listened to it once. I've listened to Magic probably at least 5 times in the past 2 months. So, y'all gotta understand, sometimes that shit, it's like trying to get back with your ex-girlfriend from high school. Yeah, it ain't there no more. The Magic y'all had in Morgan, it ain't there no more. It ain't there. Leave it be. I leave it alone. Just leave it be and just be happy with who you got right now at your side doing your thing. Like, okay, it would have been great to get with old girl back in 1995. It's 2022. Okay, so let's move on. And again, that's that. Rel, you're probably one of the biggest Nas fans I know. What are your answers? What are you thinking about KD3?
I think we probably will get more of the same of what we've been getting, like quality. You know what I'm saying? I was one of the people, you know, as a big Nas fan, like that was, you know, I was happy because I remember when King's Disease 1 track listing came out, people was like, what the fuck? Like, you got, you know what I'm saying? You got this person on there, you got ASAP Ferg, and like people was a little dirt. They was like, this shit gonna be whack. You know what I'm saying? And it was not. And then you get 2, and then Magic out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, they got a good formula, man. They got a good formula. I'm just anxious to see, you know, what direction they go in with this one and who they have featured on it and stuff like that. Like, I agree with like what Veg was saying about the variety. He just giving them a variety of beats, and he got the right tempo for the way Nas raps. And then, you know what I'm saying? Because I think one of the problems with the Kanye joint, like the tempos didn't fit. Some of the tempos didn't fit, and I actually like a few songs on that joint, but you could tell he wasn't as comfortable as he is on these Hit Boy beats. So that's what I'm anticipating.
Vern, I just had one of my, what Mars calls my kill analogies. Mm-hmm. I feel like Hit Boy for a backpacker is like when a man, a older black man gets with a white woman. And it's like, you with her? Like, what the fuck? All these bad, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, but we happy, but we in love. Like, everything is good. Like, be happy for me. I'm happy. Like, no, fuck it. You supposed to be with Tanisha from down the block, and you supposed to be like, it's like, yo, but I'm in love. Like, I'm good. So I'm with you. I don't know how anybody after this 3-album run could be like, I hope this is last joint with Hip Boy. It's like, I don't. That's almost like somebody saying we've won our 4th championship. It's time to trade our star player. Like, who says we tired? I'm tired of winning with Steph. It's time to trade him. Let's let Jordan Poole come on to start. It's like, nigga, what you just said, bro, literally is the equivalent of somebody in Golden State being like, yeah, I'm about tired of winning with Steph. Like, let's get some new blood in here. Like, you know how asinine that sounds? Like, who would even want to say, let's get rid of Steph and let's just start Jordan Poole and start all over again? Like, because here's my question. If you don't want Hip Boy, who do you want? And I guarantee you that person would have probably said Pete Rock or old from Premier. Like, we are still clinging on to these people from 1994. Like, nigga, that's 28 years ago. That shit. Whoever you was fucking 28 years ago probably don't look as good as what they did 28 years ago if they look good in the first place. We just keeping it on. Okay?
I've respected Nas's brilliance, but I've never been a really a Nas fan. And like, I'm listening to this like, whoa, this is. I
know, but that's why I said when you said you hit me like, yo, Kill, it's magic, man. Like, yeah, I'm feeling this. Yeah, you know, you're not gonna get that. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, everybody watching with a camera right here. Y'all not gonna get that from Premiere. You're not.
No.
You're not. I mean, man, let's be honest, man. Again, I just said, I don't know another MC that's been out here as long as he. I don't know another MC, period, this late in his career after making such brilliance in the beginning of his career, who sounds better and more refreshed. So why do you think your golden era of backpack beat makers and producers, what have they done in the last 10 years that makes you think they got some magic?
The only person who I can get with is Pete. Pete is one of the few people who is still, you know, that Sky Zoo project was 5 mics to me. I think Pete is it. I just think at the end of the day, bro, Nas is in a good place. And that's where we all want to be. Think of how much more relaxed we would be if we don't have to worry about our pension. We don't have to worry about our future. We don't have to worry about paying bills. Think about how much more relaxed you could be at whatever it is that you do. Nas is rapping because he wants to rap. Nas is putting out albums now because he wants to. There's no pressure from the labels. There's probably no huge sampling clearance. To me, there's no better place in life to be where you just know that you are set for life. I'm trying to get there. I can only imagine it's a beautiful place to be, to just know I get to do this because I still want to do it. It's why I never want 3,000 to put out music. Because when he's saying I don't want to rap, don't rap. Don't rap. Please, don't. Yeah. If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
He wants to, and we still want him to, because it's a lot of legacy acts that's been dropped. So like, hey man, you know.
Nah, you're right, bro. I got hyped for a minute. I was like, yo, the Artifacts got to do album out with Buckwild. I can't wait to hear this. Heard it, I was like, okay, and we're back to Freddie Gibbs. Okay.
Oh wait, that's real. That.
Yeah, it's out. Yeah, they got it out, and I was hyped, and it was like, this is Buckwild. Whoa, I forgot was probably about 25 years ago. Like, you know, I people get stuck in certain ages. Like, my mom is turning 70 next month, and I'm like, wow, like you're still stuck at like 48 to me, nigga. I'm 48, so you can't be 48. So I'm like, still, when I hear Buckwild, I'm like, whoa, Buckwild, okay, let's go. And it's like, yeah, nah. You know,
it's a Vegas true Hollywood story that's actually current. I see Buckwild every day in Newark.
Word?
Every morning, he's in the same spot. Well, I don't know if he got any ops, but he too damn old to be having ops, so it ain't on me. But I see him every day, right outside the Starbucks. I'm probably the only hip hop nigga that's like, oh shit, Buck Wild. Most niggas probably don't even know what he looked like.
Right.
But I was always curious about what he was working on. Now I know. So.
Well, I'll say this. He had a banger with Saigon. He's got a banger with Saigon and Benny the Butcher that's fucking stupid.
Really?
Like, YouTube that. Like, probably from last year, but YouTube Saigon and Benny the Butcher. That beat is crazy. So again, this is no disrespect to Buck Wild. I'm not dissing nobody. I'm just saying that, Vern, I agree with you. Not only does he still want to rap, we still want to hear him rap. And he's rapping and giving us what we want. And it's not for, as Nas said before, you stuck in the 90s niggas, because I was offended by that. Nigga, all I want you to do is come out with dope ass music. I'm not stuck in the 90s. I don't want you to be with Premier. I don't want you, nigga, lose their numbers, lose all the motherfuckers' numbers. I just want you to make dope ass music. I ain't stuck in the 90s. I'm offended, nigga. I just want some dope ass music. Just stop fucking with Swiss. Swiss is not the answer, Nas. He's just not. Eddie, what about you? What are your anticipations for this album?
Yeah, man. I just think that I just want to hear what Nas is going to talk about next. I mean, I feel like, you know, each one of these King Disease albums, like, he dropping gems, he's telling stories, and it's like, oh shit, like that whole Death Row East, you know, we're just talking about on that, and then just talking about like him being of a certain age and like the maturity, right? And certain things, right? And he's like he's meeting us where we're at, you know, and still putting out dope music, right? He's talking about more mature subject matter without making it corny, you know. But he's also working with a producer who's, you know, younger, who has produced for some of these younger artists, so it sounds current without sounding whack, you know. I don't think it's going to be another Magic, you know, because I feel like King Disease 1, King Disease 2, I think both of those sounded more diverse than Magic. I feel like Magic kind of had like a certain feel to it, right? It was harder, more boom bap and all that. I feel like King Disease 3, who knows? Who knows what we're going to get, but I know the beats are going to be dope, and I think, you know, Nas is going to surprise us again with the subject matter, you know what I mean? Like you guys say, he's in his zone. He doesn't need to make the music, and he's in a good place. I think the only other group I would say that kind of gave me a similar thing, maybe not exactly, was like Run the Jewels, like Killer Mike and LP coming together and like making doper albums, and arguably doper albums than they've done on their own, you know, like and more well received, you know. Right.
And what about you, JR?
I'm just ready for Nas to come out with this. Like y'all said, he's at a place where he just wants to make music, and that's a great place to be. And I'm just wishing that a lot of R&B artists would do that and make good music instead of trying to, you know,
to sound like the young.
Like you already a veteran in this. Do what you want to do. Like you already have your fans. Cater to them. Like stop. These younger kids don't know you, but if you make it good and it's good to you, then it might hit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm waiting for Nas to come with this. I know it's gonna be hot. So.
You know, the only thing I can say with that, JR, to kind of play devil's advocate, well, it's not really devil's advocate because I believe it. I believe the key thing is that Nas doesn't have to do this for money. Like most other people aren't at that place. They're still trying to find a marketing scheme to be able to get people to buy their stuff. I agree with you. It may not be the younger people, but there may be people our age don't actually buy the stuff. You know, you know, you pay $9.99 a month and you can listen to every album in the world for free. You know, so I don't know if the average I don't know. I mean, we're all heads in here. But I mean, if you take it all the way back to 80, if you started iTunes in 85, I don't know if I own every Run DMC album, if I could listen to it for free for $9.99 a month. You know what I mean? We just come from an era where we had to buy music if we wanted music. This new generation doesn't have to do that. And even people our age are now old enough to say, why am I buying this album? I already paid $9.99. Paid $9.99 for an album, or $9.99 a month for Apple, Tidal, Spotify, and I can listen to everything. So again, I think when you don't have any pressure, because here's the thing, we was talking about this on another app. The record labels were the ones saying, make this for the radio, make this for this, make this for that. Now cats have their own independent label, and they're essentially doing the same thing the record labels told them to do.
Right.
Because they came out with the Boom Bap album, but then nobody bought the Boom Bap album. You know, it's like people are like, "Kill, where's the Apartment 5B merch? I want it right now." Now I'm gonna put it out, like 5 people gonna buy it. Like 200 people ask me for it all the time. You know what I mean? Then you do it, and it's like, I got it. Y'all been asking for the shit. Here you go. And it's like crickets. So it's kind of like, you know, so I think, again, that's the other thing. If more people had it where their bank account is good and I can just make music freely, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, I remember Nas met his I don't want to say soulmate, but met his music.
I get it.
You know what I mean? And again, a lot of R&B, a lot of artists don't have that. You look at an AZ album. That I love AZ, and I thought the album was good, but again, I just think it's some synergy when you just connect. Freddie Gibbs and Madlib make great music. They just do. It's just the synergy that clicks. And so you actually, to be a Nas, you have to, 1, be financially secure, and B, have your music soulmate with you right now. And then 3, be able to make incredible songs. Right. And that's a lot easy. That's a lot harder than what it seems. You know what I mean? You take away all of Nas's investments, that nigga may still be trying to make an IOU back with Genuine. You know, I don't know. You don't know. But because I'm good, I can make whatever music I want. It's his record label. And on top of that, the nigga own the record label. So I'm financially secure. I own my label. I find my music person. Burns said it. People still want to hear me. People still want to hear me. The Raggady's people we don't even want to hear them no more. Like Vegas, I was going to ask you, whatever happened to that D'Angelo documentary you was telling us about like 5 years ago?
Every like 6 months, they say they showing it in another country. And I'm like, what are they doing with this thing? But I guess it's in the tradition of D'Angelo, right?
Right.
You'll see it when you see it. If you didn't see it at Tribeca, you know.
Right. Which is great. So I think that's the hard part. Like, I agree with you. I wish more artists would do what Nas is doing. But Jesus, that's a lot of boxes to be able to check off.
Yes.
You know, to be like, okay, I can do it. You know, and I've done that. But
to JR's point, I want Maxwell to stop making music. Because
damn, you want Max to stop? You don't want the last of the trilogy?
Have you heard these singles? They're fucking terrible. I had to look at the video like, this is not him. This is somebody else. But no, it's him.
It's a new single out? I haven't even heard it.
It came out a while ago. The album was supposed to come out. I think he's independent now, and the shit sounds terrible, man. Like I'm sad. But at the same time, I'm just like, does this nigga sing? I don't understand.
Vegas like that chicken on Matrix. Not like this.
Not like this. Go ahead and pull the plug.
So what's up, Andy?
So talking about like, legacy artists and like finding soulmates, whatever, like I got a confession, right? I've been a huge Roots fan of the Roots and stuff like that. I feel like I would rather have a follow-up to this Cheat Codes album with Black Thought and Danger Mouse than another Roots album. I feel like they could.
I don't know if that's a confession, Eddie. Like I'm expecting you to say some crazy shit. Like, secretly, I lied to y'all niggas. I was never in the Marines. Like, nigga, I was lying. Like, no, I think we all would like a follow-up to Danger, but I don't need another Roots album ever again.
Yeah, I don't need. And that's the thing. Like I heard that they were working on one. And they
please don't. Somebody breaking the Jimmy Fallon studio and break Quest equipment. Like, please, we don't need another.
There's a point in time where I would have welcomed that, and I feel like that's what happens sometimes with artists and groups. Like they kind of overdo it to a point where like there's artists that stop making music, and you're like, damn, like EPMD broke up.
And then there are artists who keep making music, and you're like, damn, like niggas.
Right, like stop. Right, exactly. Like P Rock and CL Smooth, like we're like, damn, like I wish they would have made another album. The roots could stop at this point. I'm sorry.
Nah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think this joint right here is incredible. I mean, fuck it. I'm already done said half of them. Pusha's album, this, and Freddie Gibbs are like my top 3 right now. So, but yeah, I mean, I think, and even with Thought, he did the Ninth Wonder, he did the Slime Remy, he did the Sean C, he did Danger Mouse. Danger Mouse wins, everybody. Thought, guess what? If this was American Idol, Danger Mouse won. So keep making albums with Danger Mouse, leave everybody the fuck alone, lose a mayor's number, and let's just get that trilogy going too. Here we go.
Danger Mouse makes great music. And it is not formulaic. It's not what we've heard. I mean, bruh, that Saint Elsewhere album, that's a all-time classic album. Him and CeeLo, man, was on something different. And he because of his musicality, I think it brings out something in Thought more so than just we've heard that enough. I mean,
Hey, be careful! I pissed off the deep thinkers. Yeah. And you don't give a fuck. Yeah, because you're selling houses all goddamn day. I'm the one who got to deal with the shit. Like y'all come on my block. You my cousin who come on my block from another neighborhood starting all this shit. Then go home on Sunday, and I'm the nigga who got to rumble all these niggas who you done pissed off and robbed all day.
That won't be on that timeline.
Yeah, it's always that cousin. It's always that cousin that's like, yo, I don't give a fuck about these niggas coming fucking up shit on my block. Nigga, fuck up shit on your block, man. Shit. I'm the nigga who got to deal with these people.
The deep thinkers.
Yeah, the deep thinkers and the fucking Jehovah's Witnesses, man. They come in.
Oh my God.
They come in. If somebody put something like, is Black Thought the greatest MC ever? I just said no. And that was it. And then the next morning I wake up, it's like, yes. Nigga, nobody asked y'all. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you think. I said no, that was it. Leave it alone. The other niggas like, yo, why can't you have a Nas, say Nas is great without bringing up Jay-Z? Nigga, they at the hip. It's like Magic and Bird, nigga. Like, yo, it's just it. But yeah, the deep thinkers, they love Thought. But I really think you're right, Eddie. I think Thought has found his musical soulmate. And I would welcome more. If we wanted to keep stream of Thought going, please keep it going with Danger Mouse. Please, you audition. It's like it's almost like he was dating. He was dating people. You dated some shorties. You Danger Mouse, please put a ring on it and let's make this official. Like, let's call this a day. We don't, I'm Nas, put the ring on Hit Boy. Let's make this official. Let's keep this going and keep making great music.
I'm gonna say this. I think if you put some truth serum in Black Thought, he would be like, hey man, I've been wanting to get somebody else to do some stuff, besides, yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely with that, Ed. I'm definitely with that. All right, good peoples, I appreciate y'all. I will check y'all next week, y'all.